this any better?
There it goes.
Oh,
Okay.
much.
There it goes. And just in time. Just
I
in
was like,
time.
third
'cause
time's the charm.
we just went live, so it actually just fixed just in time. So
Oh, perfect.
what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 19 of the Deadhead Podcast. And today, as usual, we have our co-host Jan with us and our special guest, well, returning guest, Branden Murata of Murata Media. Pretty excited about this one. Haven't been to the movies in a while. I mean, I know Branden's been going, he goes a lot with what the content he puts on his channel. I haven't been to the movies a whole lot. So this was like the first movie in a while, really, I've seen in theaters. Besides, I think my last movie I saw in theaters was Megan. So I'm pretty excited. At least talk about it. I'm sure we all have different opinions on it, and we'll get into that. But thanks again for coming to the channel. We really appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind liking this stream as usual and going to our YouTube channel, subbing to our channel, and we have the links to all of our socials in our bio. If you wouldn't mind follow on all of that, we greatly appreciate it. And after this stream, I will also put Branden's info in the comment section of this stream as well. That way you can go check out his content. So with that being said, that's all our housekeeping. We'll do a little bit at the very end. How are you doing, Branden?
I'm doing pretty good. And I mean, the Suns won today, so
that's
big
right.
win. So I'm doing great.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I don't know how much Jan is really paying attention, but I'm seeing you like it's almost like you're like an analyst almost. Like I'm seeing sports posts like all the time, man. I mean, you're really into this kind of thing, you know?
I'm really into sports, but aside from movies, sports are my thing for sure.
Yeah. I've tried, man. I used to be like, we've had this conversation before. I used to be like really into sports and really into football and used to play football and things like that. But I think just over the years, especially like in my early childhood, I did a lot of like martial arts and things like that. So I've been way more into just MMA, boxing, things like that. And, I just stayed up late to watch the card last night. That's more like when the Super Bowl was going to premiere the next day. My Super Bowl was the fight card the night before, Volkanovski versus Islam. I still enjoy the Super Bowl, but the MMA is really my sport, and that's the only sport I can really get into now. So it's pretty cool to see somebody like yourself keeping up with it, and it's interesting. I wish I could be like you because I just hate sports.
Yeah, it's funny. MMA is like one of the things I can't get into. I don't care about MMA, but I know John Bones Jones won in like 5 seconds last night or something like that. So
that's right. Yep, he came back and he got the heavyweight belt. And although I don't know how much you know about it, Jan. The dude's a piece of shit.
I know nothing. I have no idea. I have no clue what you're talking about.
So John Jones, just to get into it just slightly for a second, John Jones, he's kind of had a very controversial, really past 10 years, to be honest with you. Because he's a he's in the UFC, the MMA fighter, and he's probably one of the best to ever do it. However, we don't really know when he was and wasn't using steroids because he's been accused multiple times. But to be honest with you, his talent.
Use steroids?
Well, I mean, they're not supposed to.
Yeah, but I mean, that's like. I mean, I am pretty much an outsider on any sport topic, but from what I understood, it's like this big taboo. Like everybody's doing it, but no one wants to admit it. But maybe I got it wrong. I don't know. You can correct me on that.
Yeah, I mean, like there's a fighter that I used to follow when I was a kid. His name was Chael Sonnen. They called him what was his nickname? I can't remember. Well, I can't remember what his name is right now. I think he's the bad guy. Actually, they call him the bad guy because he was a straight up dick to everybody. Anyway, he just admitted on a podcast he was on that he was using a little bit as well. So these fighters do use a little bit. Some of them do. So it's kind of crazy. Like, why would you admit that? Because I feel like that would litigate and mess some of the stuff, some of your record that you've built up. I feel like they could take that away.
I appreciate your honesty, though.
Afterwards.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean,
so yeah, but anyway,
well, at least they're not setting like a bad example, right?
That's right. Yeah, well, yeah, so. I guess, but I mean, he wasn't truthful about it when he was competing. I mean, Chael Sonnen, he's been retired, let's say 5 years. And now he's coming out saying he was using steroids. So So it's kind of like, okay, well, now you're not competing anymore. So it's like, all right, well, fuck it. I was on it, so I'm just letting you know. You know what I mean? I was cheating.
Right.
But anyway, so that's my sport. I'm more into that. But anyway, before we get started, I'll go ahead and I'll pass it over to Jan for a second. How are you doing, buddy? You doing all right?
I'm doing well, all things considered. Had a bit of a rough weekend up until now. That's why I had to reschedule, actually. Thanks to both of you for kind of adjusting to my schedule. So thanks for that. But otherwise, it's been all right. This Sunday has been pretty chill. I went to visit my parents. I got to see some old friends, so I'm feeling pretty all right now.
Good deal.
And now I'm on my favorite show, so there's really nothing more I can ask.
What'd you say?
Now I'm on my favorite shows. So,
okay, my bad. I thought you were referring to the other everybody's favorite show that comes on later tonight at 9:00. But anyway.
There's that too.
Oh,
well, actually,
all right.
Yeah, a little fun fact about that. So, because of time zones, the new Last of Us episode, each new Last of Us episode comes on at like 3 a.m. over here.
Oh, okay.
So I really only get to see it. Like I see it on Monday evening.
Right.
It's really I cannot be asked to be awake at 3 a.m. in the morning on a Monday. So
like 6 or 7 over here.
Yeah. That's right. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, at least that's a lot earlier. I mean, I remember when in my Walking Dead days, us being on the East Coast. I mean, it would always come on at 9:00, and some of that times the episodes went into like 10:30, 11, which is not like super late, but it's you're kind of waiting all day until that hour and a half. And with The Last of Us, even though I've been critical, I've been looking forward to the episodes. Okay, this is a show about. This is a show. And Jan, look, Brandon, I know you might have heard us say it. Me and Jan love this franchise. We love this game. We know it forward and backwards. We know the characters. We know the stories. We know the emotions. We get it all. So I've been critical, but I still love the show and I love the universe, and I wait all day for it. So I gotta like it a little bit.
No, I mean, it's also really nice. Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing to look forward to. It's been a long time since I've seen a show that is coming out where each episode is coming out weekly, right? Like I've gotten so used to shows where the entire season gets just dropped, like on Netflix and shit like that. So this is a really nice change of pace for me. It's kind of an event.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Like I in a way I prefer the one episode a week thing. I know it sucks, but it gives you just something to look forward to.
No, it's better. I actually just said that. I said that earlier. I'm tired of the binge model. I'm tired of shows being released all at once. I was like, just really go back to releasing it weekly, because so many other services have adopted that. Like HBO Max does it, Disney Plus does it. So why can't Netflix do it?
Yeah.
Well, Netflix does it sometimes. It does it for some shows. It's really weird.
What shows does it? What shows does it do it for? Because I think I remember watching a show that did still come out weekly on Netflix. What show are you talking about?
Oh well, the only one that I can think of right now is like this anime they used to have. That they still have. It's Call Me Can Communicate, but I'm pretty sure you're not talking about that one.
No, I'm not.
Nah.
No, I'm not. I've tried. Like, again, I've had this conversation with y'all before, Brandon. I've tried to get into anime. I have a coworker of mine that loves anime, and he's like trying to get me to watch these shows, and I'm like, man, I'm sure they have phenomenal. God. I'm sure they have phenomenal stories, man. But I just can't. I can't do it. I just can't do it. I've tried.
I like some of them. I'm not big into. I used to be bigger into it when I was younger. Like, it's basic, but I watched Dragon Ball Z all the time when I was a kid.
Right. The OG.
Yeah, I think that's pretty. Like, I think that's like anybody who's not really into anime, they've at least watched that, or that, and like Pokemon, the original
Pokemon for sure,
yeah.
Or Naruto, one of those.
Oh Lord, that's the one my coworker's really into. He just finished.
Oh my God,
he just finished I think he said. It's like over 900 episodes of Naruto he watched.
It's 700 episodes. I've never seen it, but I do know the numbers.
My bad. Sorry.
I've never seen it, but I do know the number. It's 700 episodes, and then you got the a new show.
Boruto.
It's Boruto. Yeah, it was about his son. And as I understand it, it's like leagues worse than the original, and it also has a shit ton of episodes. The problem is, from what I understand from the with these animes, is that they have an episode coming out weekly, but like constantly. Like there's no seasons. They just like for years on end, you have one episode a week. So what happens is that there's like a lot of crunch, and the quality episodes really resents from it. And that's pretty much it. That's kind of the hole where Boruto and Naruto have fallen into.
I can't do it. I'll take your word for it. So anyway, well, how about we get into Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania? Because I know we've all seen that, correct? So we're all good.
We're
ready to spoil the shit of it. I know we're kind of late on this. I mean, when did it come out? When did it release?
2 weeks ago.
Okay, so I know we're a little bit behind. 2 weeks ago we did. What was our last show about? Was it a little bit of Hogwarts Legacy, Jan?
Kind of Hogwarts Legacy, but not really.
Not really.
Yeah, like
okay.
First impressions, yeah.
Right. So next week we're gonna do our full-on Hogwarts Legacy video. We're gonna have Lyra on. She's a Twitch streamer, loves Hogwarts Legacy and the Harry Potter universe, and that ought to be interesting because I got some thoughts on that too. But let's get it going. So let's talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Let's start with you, Branden. You're our guest on the show. I've seen your review. I don't know if I don't think Jan has seen your review.
I have not.
I know you did like a little review on Twitter. You didn't do a video review, did you?
I did one on TikTok, and I actually, because I've seen, like you said, I've seen a lot recently.
Okay.
And I wanted to make a sorry, I'm having some trouble with my camera here. But I wanted to make a full YouTube review on it, but I was like, it's kind of late, so I think I decided not to. So you can kind of consider this like my full review, sort of. Okay,
good. Well, if you want to, you go ahead and take the floor. Give your overall thoughts on it, and then if me and Jan feel like we want to chime in, we can, or we'll just let you have your spiel and have like a little bit of like a monologue action going. So, but go ahead. The floor is yours, man.
Okay. Yeah, it's just. Plain and simple, I didn't think it was a good movie. I did not like it at all. A lot of people I follow and a lot of my mutuals like on TikTok some of them said this is the worst MCU movie they've ever seen, and I'm like, I didn't think it was that bad. It was bad, don't get me wrong, but yeah, it had such a lackluster start to Phase 5 because I'm one of the people I think Phase 4, I think we've talked about this before. I think Phase 4 is far and away the worst phase of the MCU thus far, and I was excited for Quantumania because it's introducing Kang, and Jonathan Majors is a great actor. He was great in Creed, if you guys haven't seen Creed yet. But and I was really looking forward to it because I was like, this guy is supposed to be the new Thanos, and Ant-Man I think is one of the underrated, because I really liked the first Ant-Man. The second Ant-Man is all right, and I thought this one would be fantastic, but it wasn't. It was really bad. It was the worst Ant-Man movie by far.
Well, is that it? I was waiting. I thought you
basically gets all my thoughts out. Like I can have more thoughts once we start talking more about certain aspects of it.
Okay. Sorry about that. I didn't mean for it to get real awkward. I was just waiting for. I was like, okay, get a little dramatic pause going. You know? All right. Well, that's interesting to note. All right, Jan, go ahead. You got the floor, man. What do you think?
Well, I pretty much agree, Branden, on everything he said. I'm not much into the MCU. In fact, I have not watched most of the newer movies. Most of Phase 4, I completely skipped on. So, So, most of the things that I did not, I got really, confused by a lot of the characters they were like adding in this, they were shown in this movie. And I kind of thought, okay, maybe it's not the movie's fault, it's my fault. They're not really following the Marvel universe, right? But besides that, that doesn't really excuse the fact that that all the characters are bland. Literally, the movie fails to make me care about any of them. They have like a lot of moments where characters die, and it's like this big moment, and I just cannot be asked to care. I did not remember even what these characters' names are, let alone why you should care about them living or dying. There's a lot of, as always, as in the entire MCU, there's a lot of quirky jokes that fall completely flat, just fail to be funny. And what else? And also MODOK. I think there's just that's all I'm gonna say on that. Overall, it was probably the most boring 2 hours of my week, if you can believe that. Yep. So what
so
about
you found your so you found yourself bored for most of it?
Well, very bored, very much. Because the story was so predictable, right? And you have to the fact you keep adding like a shit ton of characters, and I have very hard time distinguishing them. It's just that, and the movie just ends exactly how you expect it to. Oh yeah, one thing. The entire movie seems to be just this huge setup, right? It really has to set up Kang, right, as this big new villain, the new Thanos, as Branden put it. And again, it cannot be asked. It's just the movie is so disingenuous. It's so obvious that this entire film, this entire work, has been created solely for the purpose of hyping up Kang, right? Like it's all the time in every scene. You're saying, "Oh shit, Kang, him, he's here." Oh damn, no, you don't want to mess with that guy. Kang is, no, it's him. He's the big bad. And I think it was kind of absurd, kind of ridiculous. Again, as I said many times in this show, Marvel movies these days just kind of feel like a Saturday morning cartoon. And I'm kind of tired of them. But what about you, Dylan? What did you think about it?
Well, surprisingly, look, I know that I am. So you made some interesting points, by the way. Both of you guys did. I know I'm kind of known on this show and in my inception as the pumping out, making the videos and come on here and just talking shit with Jan and whoever our guests are. I'm known to be a hater, and I'm not meaning to be that way. I just happen to be very critical of things that I enjoy. I'm not into the MCU either. I've been pretty damn critical of the MCU. I hate all the shows. The only show I didn't mind as much was I thought WandaVision was decent. Have you seen that? Have you guys seen that? I think me and Branden had this conversation last time. Well, I think the first time he was on.
I've watched every show except She-Hulk. I haven't finished She-Hulk, and I don't know if I ever will.
The best one.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No. I don't like any of the shows. The only one that I like, I thought WandaVision was okay, and I thought Loki was fine because it was interesting. And you talk about a show that's hyping up a character, or a piece of media or a movie hyping up a character. Loki does that a lot too, because we don't know who Kang is, because it's not even revealed that Kang was in charge of all the timelines of the MCU until the very end, when you see a variant of Kang at the end of Loki. And I'm sure you guys know that if you've seen it. So, all right, so I'll be honest with you. Like, I kind of looked at this Ant-Man like the other ones. I thought they were just dumb fun. I thought Scott Lang. I think I love Scott Lang. Paul Rudd is a great. I think maybe not a great actor, but just a likable guy. I've liked him pretty much since like 40-Year-Old Virgin, and probably a little bit before that. Even when he was in one of the Halloween films too. Halloween Curse.
What did he play in 40-Year-Old Virgin?
He played Steve Carell's friend that works.
Friends.
Yeah, that works.
I did not recognize him.
If you want to go earlier than that, he was in Clueless.
Yeah, that's right.
And I don't know if I watched this in high school. He was in like a straight to television version of The Great Gatsby. If you guys have ever seen that.
Oh shit. No, I haven't seen.
You ever read The Great Gatsby?
Yeah.
I read it,
but he played Nick. Yeah, in
oh wow,
like a straight to television film. Yeah. I watched it in high school. I was like, "Is that Paul Rudd?" This is way before he was famous then.
Yeah. But and the thing, the guy doesn't age, so he's so likable, and so that for me was like probably the highlight of the movie. I know a lot of people want to say Kang, and Kang for me, I don't know how you guys feel, but I'll be interested to get on this topic. I did like Kang as an overall character. I will say, like, I liked the twist with Michelle Pfeiffer's character, Hope's mom. She was in the quantum realm for what she say 30 years, I believe, 30 years to her at least. And she met Kang before she knew who he really was. And I did like the reveal, I guess. We all knew he was Kang, but when she sees like all the shit he's done, when she touches his ship or whatever, which I thought was kind of weird, but whatever, I digress. But she can see like what he's been doing and all the damage he's done. I did like that. I thought that was a pretty cool reveal. I liked him as a character, but I just thought that by the time you see him, I felt like the movie was pretty much over, because it's like Jan was saying to me, I felt like they kind of hyped him up the entire time. And then to have a payoff like they did. It just didn't feel as fulfilling to me. Like that final fight was just kind of, whatever. But anyway, to get to the other stuff really quick. Yeah. The humor again falls flat. I was really interested about meeting some new like creatures in the quantum realm and different like civilizations and stuff. And I thought they were really cool at first. Like they're talking like in different language and stuff. I'm like, oh, cool. It kind of reminded me of Star Wars. But then they drink that little red goo. And now they can speak their language, and they sound stupid. They sound exactly what we've heard in every single movie since pretty much since Phase 4, really. I mean, and probably before that, because Marvel humor has always been a little spotty. But all in all, I kind of just looked at it as dumb fun. I agree, MODOK looked dumb as well. The only thing I'll say about that is it's kind of hard to do a MODOK like justice, because if you've seen him in the comics and games, he looks kind of like that,
He looks wacky, but I don't know. At least make him look evil, right? Yeah, he looks straight up goofy.
He's always looked ridiculous, but the fact that they just took Corey Stoll's head and then just warped it, it looked so ridiculous.
What y'all think about like before he took his mask off? Did you think that looked all right?
I did think that
looked all right. That's okay. Yeah, that's like Goblin in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films.
That's right.
So he looks goofy in the comics.
Misery. That's what she's chosen.
No, it's fine. But so in the movies he has this mask. It kind of looks all right, And I thought with MODOK, honestly, before he took his mask off, I thought that's what he's gonna look. I didn't think he's gonna actually take his mask off and be, as you said, just a big face.
Right.
So,
it didn't look. It didn't look the best. But I mean, he's always looked kind of goofy. So that even though the CGI looked terrible, it looked like some Spy Kids shit straight up.
Like Mr. Electric.
Yeah, dude.
Exactly. I wanted to say that.
3.
It's literally that. It's like spiritual successor of Mr. Electric. That's what it was.
Yeah. So we got a Lee Pondick here. Lee Pondick. Hey man, thanks for coming to the stream. The goo in Ant-Man 3 is an old Native American ceremony. It's turd and shrooms.
Is that for real? Or is that
spent a few years studying cults in the Southwest. That stuff's called pot latching. Creepy Disney Easter egg.
Interesting.
I don't know if he's fucking with us, if that's true.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sounds like a troll. I'm gonna Google that, but it's
I don't know how true that is.
And then Millie 22191 says hello. Hey Millie, how's it going? So I'm trying to think of something else. I thought that the whole Marvel again, the CGI. I don't know what it is in post production or whatever. Their CGI and everything else just sucks right now. It just really sucks. So when they're when there's a scene where Ant-Man and Cassie are running, and you just see the back, and it just straight up looks like a green screen the whole time. Now, granted, I know these movies have to be mostly green screen, but this just looks like really bad. So I don't know, man. They gotta take their time with their films. They just will not, man. They just want to put out quantity over quality. That's just how
they just keep shitting him out.
And I think there was a report recently that a lot of the VFX artists were really rushed on this, and they didn't have time to finish. But the deadlines Marvel has are just ridiculous.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and I know it's not I'm sure they're doing the best they can, but when you're being rushed, I mean, this is kind of, what you expect to get. But yeah, all in all, man. So just to get my final say so on it. Yeah, I'm probably not as terrible. I don't have as much of a bad take of the movie as opposed to you guys, but I will say, it's I kind of compare it to the other Ant-Man movies. I had a good time with the other two, had a slightly less good of a time with this one, but at the end of the day, I kind of look at Marvel as just one of those things. It's just something okay, it's if I want to see some just shit blow up for 2 hours, and I'll watch it. But anyway, real quick, so that leads me to the next thing. Starting with you, Branden. What did you think? I know you're a big Jonathan Majors guy. It seems like I've seen you talk about him quite a few times on Twitter and things of that nature. What did you think about his iteration of Kang?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm I appreciate him because he's a really good actor. He's definitely one of the biggest up and coming actors right now. Because the first movie that I ever saw him in was just a few years ago. It was an A24 film called The Last Black Man in San Francisco. You guys heard of that?
No, I haven't.
That was the first thing I ever saw him in, and then he was in a Spike Lee movie a few years ago called *Five Bloods*, and now he's in the Rocky franchise, and he's in the MCU, and it's amazing how quickly he's blown up.
Yeah.
But I think he really is a great actor, and in fact, I think he was the best part of this movie because I personally think most of the actors in this movie were completely sleepwalking. It seemed like 90% of them had no interest in being there.
Yeah.
Right? Michael Douglas, especially.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and honestly,
Hank
He was
Hank
Hank.
Pym.
Oh, okay.
Michael Douglas would look like he had little to zero interest in being there. Evangeline Lilly was awful, and honestly, I did not really care for Paul Rudd's performance either. It's just, I don't know. But the only people to me that seemed like they were trying were Jonathan Majors and Michelle Pfeiffer. And but yeah, Jonathan Majors was the best part because he really does have like that menacing sort of presence to him. But I just think that he as a character, as Kang, was wasted because I never really, even though he had a sinister presence to him, he never felt like he could kill everybody because he got beat by Ant-Man. Like so easily. Like nothing against Ant-Man, but he's not the guy who you'd expect to overpower him so easily. It's just I don't know. It felt like the script did him dirty.
Well, I think that was the big thing going into it, right? Like when you think of a huge villain like Kang the Conqueror, you're like, why is Kang the villain of an Ant-Man movie? I think going into that, I was sitting there like, is this the hero or is this the character they're trying to incorporate? Because I know we've seen Kang before in Loki, but this is like the first Kang that actually looks like he can do some damage, and you put him in an Ant-Man movie. I thought that was kind of weird anyway. Did y'all think the same thing? That was kind of like little weird?
Kind of. You'd think he would be like introduced in maybe a bigger sort of superhero. I don't know who they could have been, like maybe Thor, but I mean, after what they did to Thor in Love and Thunder, who knows?
That's trash. Yeah, absolutely terrible movie,
it was,
man.
Not a good movie. It was not. My feelings have soured on that movie over time, but I'm not sure who else they could have, like, I don't know, Spider-Man possibly. Who else is there? Like the new Captain America
has his own thing going on.
Yeah, the new Captain America, because Captain America is Falcon now. If you guys watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is a really, really bad show. Yeah, I'm not sure who else they could have done it. So maybe they were just like, let's just do Ant-Man and see what happens.
Yeah,
probably.
I thought overall
they say that maybe.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that maybe they're like setting up like an underdog thing, like, you know, who would expect Ant-Man to be the one to save us, but it's probably not that deep. You're probably right. They just didn't know who else to pitch him against.
I've seen people say like, oh, this version of Kang, like, it's just setting up like more powerful versions of him. I was like, but this still wasn't a great introduction, because if this guy is supposed to be this all-powerful being that has the ability to destroy everything like Thanos did, then I really don't get that sense from him just from this movie, because he was beaten so easily. So
yeah, it's like I get what they were trying to do, right? Like the whole thing was he was, so the story is that he was banished to the quantum realm by the other variants. But so what I'm understanding is, and maybe you guys can give me a little bit more into it, from what I'm understanding, was he was basically going from different universes and just killing, like, he's killed some Avengers. He's been to each universe and killing the Avengers and killing whoever, you know, pretty much screwing up the timelines. Is that why he got banished, or is there a real like direct reason as to why he got sent to the quantum?
I think they said it, but I can't remember.
Me neither. I cannot.
Yeah, I mean, I was just trying to understand, because like it. Oh, what was that?
No, nothing. I was gonna say, I think it just said he's dangerous, right?
Right.
That's kind of, that's all I remember.
Yeah, I mean, like he was definitely powerful, and I did like the part when he, like, at this point, his like, I guess you say his like time machine just got straight up destroyed. That's what
it is.
He came down and just started killing a bunch of them. I thought that was pretty cool.
I just looked it up. It just says Kang vaguely refers to being banished to the quantum realm by his other variants because he posed a threat to them. It's unclear when in the timeline this takes place or what happened to precipitate these events.
Right. And
the thing is,
Yeah, right. And you think that, especially from like the end credit scenes, and there's two of them. The one at the very, I think it's the first one has all the other variants,
Oh,
and they confirm that he's definitely dead. I say I was thinking for a second that maybe he wasn't, that maybe he didn't die right there, because I did think that was a little too easy, like how it happened. But like they straight up confirmed that he's dead, and they know who killed him pretty much, and so like they just know like they're not as indestructible as they think they are. So, but I don't know, man. Like all the other ones look, I'm not gonna lie, like all the other variants look so wacky to me. They don't even look like villains.
They did.
I think
they
the
look
one
funny.
the one that like died, the one that died looks way more badass to me. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
It's funny. What just came to mind for me is another Spy Kids connection, because if you guys have seen Spy Kids 3D, Sylvester Stallone is the villain, and there's like different variants of him, and they all look ridiculous. And yeah, that's kind of what it was like.
Oh wow, dude! So they're just straight up copying from a children's sci-fi film.
I mean, the best one there is, but yeah,
the best one.
The first two Spy Kids were pretty good. The third one was bad.
Yeah. The first two were, from what I remember. I'll be honest with you, I've never really. I think I was so like a little too old when those movies came out that I wasn't really into them. But I do remember the first two being okay. But the third one was like they're trapped in like a video game.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. And it was called 3D because you could watch it in 3D with 3D glasses. Thing.
That's right.
It came with a DVD. You got the glasses.
Oh yeah, 3D glasses. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I know that movie came out in 2003. I want to say, so obviously it's not going to have great CGI, but the CGI, even for that time, was real bad. Awful. It was terrible.
It's better than Ant-Man and the Wasp: QUANTUMANIA. Which, by the way, why did they name the movie Ant-Man and the Wasp when the Wasp is barely in the movie?
Oh, I wanted to say that. She has like 8 lines. 8 lines in the whole movie. You know what? She's there just to save Ant-Man's ass a few times. That's about it.
She didn't really do anything, and this might be a personal shot, but what did they do to her head?
Oh no, dude.
Her hair was awful.
See, I wasn't gonna say it, Brandon, but you said it.
I'll say it. Her hair. I don't know what to even call that.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. Like it might be a personal shot, but it really is like I don't know what they were doing with her haircut. I really don't, because like I thought honestly, like, and I'm a married man, okay, and I love my wife very much, okay. I'm just saying that I thought she was very, 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 very attractive in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Like,
I agree.
I just thought she was really, really pretty. Like the way how long her hair was. I just like long hair. You know what I mean? I'm just that's just me personally. I'm not really. It's not that I'm against that, but like I told my wife, if you cut your hair short, I'm leaving you.
That's it. Wow. That's it. You're just putting out the finger.
Yeah. But so I don't.
You have the marriage contract. You just
that's right. Just ripped it bitch in half.
She just comes home with a buzzed head. You're like, all right, I'm not time to bring out the
all right. Who's gonna tell the kids?
No, we're not quite there yet, so there's no one to tell. Her hair was pretty attractive. What do y'all think about the Bill Murray cameo? I thought that was pretty cool. Bill Murray.
Pointless.
Exactly. I love that you called it a cameo. Yeah, I love how you called it a cameo because like that's as soon as he appears, he just dies. It's just
literally anybody could have played that role, but they stuck Bill Murray in there for some strange reason.
Yeah, and apparently he
was in the trailer.
Yeah,
I mean,
and apparently him and Hope's. I can't remember what's her name, Brandon. What's her name in the movie? The Hope's mother. I keep calling her Michelle Pfeiffer. Janet. Like that. Okay. Yeah. Apparently Bill Murray and Janet, or whatever Bill Murray's name is in the movie.
I don't remember that.
Apparently,
Lord Kryler, something like that.
That might be right.
Krylock? I don't remember.
Something along that.
I don't. Nor do I really care. He was a
But apparently they were hooking up while she was in the quantum realm, and I guess that was supposed to be funny, I guess. But I just like Bill Murray. So I will say that's a little personal bias. I was just happy to see him. I mean, I love the original Ghostbusters and things like that. So it was good to see him. Space Jam. He's been in many others, but
Right.
those are the two that I remember when I was a kid. I love those. But
Garfield
it's
too. And
Garfield. Oh, that's right,
Garfield.
Garfield too.
Yeah, the Garfield
Garfield
movies.
too.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
His best cameo was in Zombieland when he makes fun of Garfield.
Yes, sir.
He's dying,
didn't
and they
see
like,
that.
do you have any regrets? And he's like, Garfield, maybe.
Garfield. Wait, have you not seen Zombieland?
I have not. Oh my god,
Dude.
Zombieland the second Zombieland is actually really good.
Yeah.
I like both the Zombieland movies.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I've been trying to. I have like a backlog of movies that I feel like I should get more cultured from movies. You know.
Yeah.
So I think I'll put that in the backlog.
It's a good one. It's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, you got a backlog of games and movies you got to catch up on, Jan. You're so behind, man.
I got a backlog of games, movies, music, TV shows. You know, you name it.
It's just so much,
Books,
man. It's
novels. It's
yeah. It's crazy. Like to be like this from the 21st century. Like you literally don't have any. Like there's no reason why you can't find anything to do. Because between books, movies, TV shows, shit like that, there's so much
stressful.
There's so much media to consume. You know, like I think that's why we're like so desensitized to like movies like this that don't hit as well. We're desensitized.
Doesn't give a shit. Yeah,
we see so much media, man. Like if we hadn't seen a superhero movie in a while, like a few years, we might actually be looking at this a lot differently. Like, okay, that was actually pretty decent. You know?
Yeah, dumb fun. Yeah,
that's Marvel's biggest problem right now, though. Is like you said, just especially lately, they've been favoring quantity over quality. Because Phase 4 started with WandaVision, I think.
I believe so.
And then after WandaVision, they just pumped out all these TV shows, all these movies, and it just became overwhelming. And some of them were good, some of them were just absolutely terrible. And but that's the problem. Like they put out so much that it just became overwhelming and kind of stale. And at the same time, none of those movies really and shows felt like they were really leading to anything. Because we know that because the earlier phases of the MCU, it was leading to Endgame. It was obvious, like Thanos was the villain the whole time, and that's what it was all leading to. But in Phase 4, I kept asking, like, what is the point of all this? Like, what is this? What is the payoff to all of this?
Right.
And especially in this movie just felt like a stepping stone. It didn't really feel like it was necessary. It just felt like a placeholder.
Right.
A lot of them feel that way. Doctor Strange too.
See, I actually liked Doctor Strange, the second one. It's not great, but I enjoyed it. It was better than most of the stuff from Phase 4.
No. I had time. I had things I liked about it too, but it also felt like a stepping stone. You know, they just introduced other teams, introduced the whole multiverse thing, and
I guess what I like most about Multiverse of Madness is that it tried something new, because that movie was unlike most MCU movies. Because one, it actually had really, really good cinematography, which is something that the MCU is allergic to having for some reason. But when your director is Sam Raimi, who's directed some of the best horror movies of all time, and still probably the best Spider-Man movie to ever come out, then you know what he's gonna bring to the table.
Man, I just earned even more respect for you, man, that you said that Toby and Sam Raimi's universe is the best Spider-Man, because I could go on and on about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's not what I meant, but I am kind of because I think he is the best, but I meant personally Spider-Man 2 is probably the best Spider-Man movie that there is.
All right. In other news, I just looked it up, and potlatch is a real thing. The thing that the Lee Pondy was talking about. Yeah, it is a ceremonial feast of the American Indians of the Northwest coast, marked by the host's lavish distribution of gifts, or sometimes destruction of property, to demonstrate wealth and generosity with the expectation of eventual reciprocation. So there's that. The more you know.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
But real quick, Dylan, do you agree with that? Spider-Man 2 is the best, or?
I agree with that.
Spider-Man 2, Spider-Verse, it's like neck and neck.
No.
What movie do you think is best, Dylan?
I'm actually I'm probably like outside the norm here. I still think I like the first one the best, man. I love Willem Dafoe's Goblin. I love
That's
Willem
probably
Dafoe's
third
Goblin.
that's probably third for me. Like a tie between Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Verse, and then the
okay.
original.
So are you saying like Spider-Man movies in general? Or are you saying like the Sam Raimi
No,
Spider-Man
just
movie?
all Spider-Man movies.
Oh, okay. Well, I would say probably so it'd be me like the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man, and then Into the Spider-Verse is like right underneath it, I would say.
Yeah.
And then everything else just kind of goes as follows. But like I don't know, like I guess like again, I think it's for a lot of us. Like we're all around the same age. I think Brandon's a little bit older. I'm 26. Jan, what are you like? Oh, okay.
I'm 23, so
we're all how old did you say you were, Brandon?
26.
Okay, cool. All right.
So we're 27 in a few weeks, though.
Oh man, I thought you were an old man.
I may give that appearance, but
no. I did think you were a little bit older. I didn't know you were 26. I thought you were a little bit older, but we all kind of grew up with those movies, and I know that that's like the Sam Raimi movies, and so I know that's immediately you're gonna be like, well, you grew up with that, so you're gonna sit here and say that. But to me, like, and I know this has nothing to do with Ant-Man, because to be honest with you, I made the subject of tonight's episode about this, but there's really not much else to really talk about the movie. We can kind of get into a little bit more detail if you guys want, but for me personally, like, I just think that Toby embodies what I would want in a Peter Parker. Like, I just think the way he's written, he's not super like a jokey type of Spider-Man, and some people prefer that, and I don't mind that, but to me, I find it a little bit more realistic that he's not. I like the more like silent type. Like he says when he feels like he needs to say something. It's like the only time to me in Spider-Man 3 when he was talking a bit more like the Sandman. Jigs up, pal. I'm the sheriff in this town. I just felt like he was kind of a little corny, to be honest with you. So like, I prefer like him to be a little bit quieter. And that's but again, that's personal preference. You know what I mean? Some people like Tom Holland's bitchy ass. Oh my God, watch out, Mr. Stark. Like that's him the whole time, you know?
Toby's a better Peter Parker, and I think Andrew Garfield was a better Spider-Man in terms of like his wit and his sarcasm.
A lot of people say that, yeah.
But even though those movies weren't good. Well, the first Amazing Spider-Man was okay. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the worst Spider-Man movie ever.
I like the fights in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, though. I thought like the fight with Electro in the power plant. I thought that was pretty good.
But it made it hard to sympathize with Peter, though, because at the end of the Amazing Spider-Man, Captain Stacy, as he's dying, he tells Peter like, "Stay away from Gwen." And he's like, "Okay, sir, I will." And then like, immediately he breaks the promise, and Gwen ends up dying as a result of it. And you're just like,
well, you know what? I think that's kind of the point of the movie. You know, that's he breaks the promise, and he has to face the consequences. That's the entire plot line. It kind of mirrors what happens in the comics, where when Gwen Stacy dies, he feels guilty. He sees back at all the people he's hurt indirectly because he was Spider-Man, right? He simply chose to be Spider-Man, and all the people in his life get hurt because of it. And Gwen Stacy dying was the climax of it. So yeah, I think in the movies they made Peter Parker a bit of an asshole, but making it more directly his fault. But I think I know that Spider-Man 2 is a mess, but I enjoy it. I'm sorry, like I know that I'm an animal for this.
I'm the same way. I'm the same way, brother. I still enjoy it. I know it sucks, but it's like guilty pleasure, man. I always
and honestly, I love the scenes between. I'm sorry, I'll let you speak, but I just love the scenes between Peter and Gwen. I just like the whole movie. You can shit on the whole movie. You cannot shit on those scenes. I think like
Peter and Gwen.
Their chemistry are just great, and the scene where Gwen Stacy dies, I think is one of the best scenes in the entire Spider-Man cinematography. So the movie shit, but that one scene saves it for me.
Dude, the clock tower fight scene, the clock tower. I don't like the Goblin in that, dude. He looks nasty. He sucks. However, that clock tower fight scene is one of the to me, is one of the most badass Spider-Man scenes in movies. Like when the clock tower, he's swinging from side to side. He's going like jumping with the glider. I thought that was awesome. I will say it's a guilty pleasure movie. I'm with Brandon. I don't think it's a good movie. But it is. I will say I may have watched it more than 5 or 6 times.
I mean, saying it's the worst. I'm saying it's worse is saying that it's worse than Far From Home, and I cannot condone that. I cannot.
I like Far From Home.
Oh, this is good. This is good. Whoa!
Oh no! I'm gonna
like, And that was a funny face that he got paused on.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, oh.
Oh, really? Got paused on.
Yeah, you guys froze.
Yeah, you froze a little bit.
Yeah.
But unless you count the Venom movies as Spider-Man movies too, because those are really bad.
I mean, if you're gonna count the Venom movies, you have to count Morbius too, because he's a Spider-Man villain originally. So
and who is it? Vulture is in Morbius, even though that makes absolutely no sense. Oh, there we go. That's what I was having problems with there.
Yeah, Vulture is in Morbius. Hey,
is he? I didn't watch it.
I got here, but I think it's because of Spider-Man.
He's like, I don't know how I got here.
A couple guys like us.
Really?
I think it has something to do with Spider-Man.
Yeah,
like,
a couple guys.
Are you
like
for
us
real?
Team up.
Yeah.
Do some good.
That happens in the movie? Why is no one talking about it?
It's the post-credit scene. It makes absolutely no sense,
man. No sense, because they don't mention Spider-Man at all. So it's like, why is he even here? Why is he even talking right now? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, damn. I didn't know
and it's poorly written too, Jan. Like it's almost like, when you were little and you had action figures and you made them talk to each other. That's what I feel like the writers of this movies were doing. They just had a Vulture like action figure, and then Morbius were just like, here, now kiss.
Have you either of you? I'm sure you have, but have you guys seen Rise of Skywalker?
Yes.
Yeah. The line in Morbius, like, I think it has something to do with Spider-Man. It gave shades of somehow Palpatine returned.
God, that was beautiful. That was
you just say this one throwaway line and you think that explains all of it, but it just makes it lazy.
No, Brandon, you're wrong, man. They wrote a book about it. You got to read the freaking book, bro.
No, I haven't read the Star Wars book.
I had no idea. There's so much like Star Wars media. There's like comic books, novels. It's crazy. And they keep saying it's better than the movies, which I believe because it's kind of a low bar. But
I like most of the Star Wars movies.
Oh yeah,
I think Revenge of the Sith is really good.
Yeah, me too.
I agree with that.
Yeah, Revenge of the Sith is awesome, but everyone says it sucks.
I think they just say that because they think that I know we're really like bouncing all over the place here, but I think the reason why there's main criticism, we do that over here on Deadhead Podcast, so it's fine. I think the reason why people say Revenge of the Sith sucks, I hear that one a lot, is because of the whole reason why Anakin became Vader in the first place. Like, oh, okay, so he did that for a girl. That's why he did it. It's like, oh man, when you look at it like that, it sounds lame. But if you got
like, there's a whole story underneath. Well, I mean, there's a whole pop. He
didn't do it just for some girl. You freaking
idiot.
he did it kind of because he thought like their lives would be better.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
I mean, what if he did? There's like a lot of great stories that they're involved, where the cause of discord is directly romance. So I don't think that puts any shade on Revenge of the Sith. But as Dylan said, that's not even the case. So
yeah. What do you think about? I mean, while we're on the subject, Brandon, I mean, what do you think about Attack of the Clones? Did you like that one?
I haven't seen Attack. I mean, as I loved it as a kid, but I haven't seen it in so long. I'll have to rewatch it. But I know I've seen so many people that I follow. They have Attack of the Clones as like last. They say that's the worst Star Wars movie. I'm like, well, let me see. I'll have to rewatch them. But yeah, I haven't seen it in so long. But I mean, the original trilogy holds up.
Yeah,
my personal favorite. Most people's favorite is Empire, but my personal favorite is Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, I agree.
And, that one. They're all really good though. Force Awakens, I liked. When I first watched Last Jedi, I hated it. I'd probably have to rewatch that. And when I first watched Rise of Skywalker, I thought it was decent, but again, I'd have to rewatch it. So
yeah,
I haven't.
I had the strangest experience with those movies where when I first watched The Last Jedi, I also hated it, but upon rewatching it, I kind of liked it a bit better.
It's funny. Everyone's all over the map on Last Jedi. Some people say it's the worst Star Wars movie ever, but others say it's the best. It's crazy.
Well, I feel like it was trying to do something, right? Because with The Force Awakens and The Rise of Skywalker, the main criticism, which I agree on, is that they're kind of retreading the same ground. They're doing the same things that the original trilogy did. Well, The Last Jedi tried to do something different. There was this whole thing where Rey was a nobody, unlike most Star Wars main characters who are they're all linked to one another in some way, and their entire life is kind of somehow predestined, for greatness. Rey was a nobody, right? She was supposed to be up until the Last Jedi. Let's make this clear. There's this whole thing where she's master of her own actions, right? There's no big plan, right? She's just herself, right? And that's why on rewatch, I can appreciate that more. I like the hero that comes from nowhere, right? I think this is really romantic from that point of view. And the Rise of Skywalker, the first time I watched it, I thought it was decent. It was decent fun. But then upon rewatching it, that's when I started to hate it, because I felt like it destroyed everything that The Last Jedi tried to do, where by tying again Rey to the big family drama that is Star Wars, but just having awful writing. I think that somehow Palpatine Return is just the cherry on top. Just bad.
Right. Well, I think they had a specific vision that they were trying to complete with The Last Jedi. Who is it? Is it Ryan Johnson that
they changed directors?
The Last Jedi.
Yeah, right. But he directed Last Jedi, right? So he had this vision of how he wanted the story to go, and then they like, oh, well, who's a pretty good writer for this franchise? Let's bring in J.J. Abrams, and J.J. Abrams didn't know what the fuck was going on, and like that's why like this whole thing with Palpatine and with Rey being Palpatine's descendant, it's like it just seemed like it was just shoehorned in there. Really, I don't think they knew what they wanted to do with her. I think honestly, it would have hit way harder if she was. I don't know. Like to me, like I don't even know if I'd want her really linked to anybody that we've seen before in this franchise. I think it would have been just fine if she was just a Force user and just learned how.
It would have been something new.
Yeah, like embody the Force. Like, how's she able to use it her own way? Because I love Rey. I thought she was great for the franchise, but. You just didn't really get to see.
I would like to love her. Yeah, I would like to love her, but it's just that she comes off as such a plain character because her personality changes in every movie. So it's it's hard to like her, even though I would really love to.
Yeah. But I mean, the best parts of those movies is Kylo Ren. Let's be honest, dude. Kylo Ren, Adam Driver. Like, come on, that's good.
Adam Driver is one of those actors I will watch anything he's in because I just like him that much. He just seems like a genuine human, and he's a great actor. So I'm like, anything he's in, I will watch.
I agree. He needs to play. What were you gonna say? Go ahead.
I don't know. Go ahead. I just want to say that I really like the fight scenes with where Kylo Ren and Rey were like linked, right? And so, but they were in different places, but they have these duels inside their minds and like things from like Kylo Ren who would somehow be able to cut things that are in Rey's environment. And vice versa. I thought it was something original, something cool. But you go ahead.
They don't really explain it, but yeah, I mean it's a cool concept. They don't really explain how they do it. Like just like how was it Rey? Was she able to force heal in the Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah, she reses Kylo Ren,
Like how the hell
she pressed C next. Oh well, the same way that Palpatine returned. I don't know.
So you're telling me
he got prestiged? I don't know.
So what you say? They prestiged.
I mean, that's kind of
they bought the battle pass. That's why they were able to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like so you're telling me as much as a master Luke was in Return of the Jedi, he didn't know how to force heal, but Rey does. How much time passed for her to be able to learn how to force heal? Well, that seems like a skill that you wouldn't learn for like a long time. You know what I mean? Like that's like being like almost godlike powers.
And when that's the worst thing, they just kept adding on. No, you're right, completely right. It comes out of nowhere, and Rey really did not train that much. She trained a bit with Luke, but not even that much, because she was too busy convincing him to train her. Yeah, crazy. It's like the same thing that happens in The Last Jedi with Leia, right? Where all of a sudden she's pushed into outer space, but she's able to get herself back with the Force.
And she became a space wizard.
Crazy. Pretty much. That was crazy.
They kind of are space wizards if you think about it.
Yeah,
You know?
And then Luke just projected a version of himself. That's one of the reasons I hated that. On a first watch, I was like, "What the? When did they get that ability?"
Well, I kind of like that because, like, okay, I'm gonna explain why. Because I think that unlike Rey, Luke had a lot of time to train. Right, by the time The Last Jedi comes out, he's like a veteran in the Force. He knows the ins and outs. So the idea that he could do such a feat makes sense, especially because he kind of dies because of it. Like this thing he does is so incredible. It's such a strain on him that he dies because of it. So I thought it was warranted, right? Okay, it's incredible. We've never seen it before, but it kind of did the price is right. That's what I'm gonna say. He trained a lot, and then yeah, the ultimate price is died a hero.
The Price is Right.
Yeah, it's like the price is right, like the game show.
Yeah, what are the yeah, exactly.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. What I was gonna say before that was, I mean, don't you think? And let's get off the subject of Star Wars for a second. We were talking about Kylo Ren, so it made me think about with Adam Driver, if they ever did a young Snape from Harry Potter show or movie, couldn't he play Snape? Adam Driver.
He has the hair.
Yeah,
and the nose.
I could probably see that.
A bit. Yeah.
Yeah, nose is a little long, isn't it? But I mean, as good. I have faith in him as an actor that he could play. He could do the role.
I think he has a pretty deep voice too. So yeah, I think that could pull it up. Although the only problem I have with that is that for that to happen, they would have to make another something in the Harry Potter franchise, and I kind of want them to let it die, because anything that happened in that franchise after
I think they are making more.
They are, and
but the original cast is coming back, so I'm like, at least there's that.
What?
Well, yeah, I think they're making a Harry Potter movie.
Isn't that just a rumor, though?
I think it was confirmed. I mean, I could be wrong, but I swear I thought it was confirmed.
Yeah, they're doing the Cursed Child.
All right, Jan, you know what you got to do, man? You got to look it up. You got to look it up, man. You got to tell us. You got to tell me.
I'm the guy that looks things up. All right.
You got to. You got to do. You got to do us.
I looked something up earlier.
The guy in the chair. Yeah. I thank you. I appreciate you taking on this role for the Deadhead podcast. No, I mean, I was just wondering, because you gotta let me and Branden and the people know if this is actually confirmed. Because if it is, that's cool. I mean, I'd like to see him back for sure.
Let's see.
I actually really love the Harry Potter series. It's never I've never been like a super fan, but they're always movies that I just really enjoyed watching.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they're good. They're good.
They're all good.
Yeah, it's like if you think about the Rocky franchise, right? There's not too many movies in the Rocky franchise that are actually bad. Like even like people hate Rocky 5, right? I just watched that movie and I think it's completely underrated. I don't think it's great, but I think it's one of the, like Harry Potter, I consider that one of the things. Like I think Order of the Phoenix might be my least favorite movie out of that entire franchise, but all the movies are good in my opinion. I enjoy all of them.
What's your favorite one?
Goblet of Fire, man.
Honestly, that's my favorite too. Yeah,
dude, I think Goblet of Fire is the best.
It was just always that one always entertained me the most. I don't know what it was, but that was just the one I enjoyed watching the most.
Yeah, like the Triwizard Tournament was so much fun to watch them compete in that, and then the ending, man. The ending is dark, like super dark, man. I love it. I mean, I love it, and I'm all for dark shit. I love dark storytelling, so I'm all for it. And when you see Voldemort fully in the flesh for the first time. That's all. I mean, it's
when he first shows up, right?
Yeah, man.
Fully in because in the first movie he wasn't played by Ralph Fiennes. Someone else.
No, it wasn't. Yep.
All right, what'd you find,
man? So I am sorry to announce that a Harry Potter and the Cursed Child movie has not been confirmed. So what happened is that the director of the first two Harry Potter movies, Chris Columbus, openly stated that the only way the franchise could continue would be an adaptation of the stage play Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. So that's what he said. But there's no official confirmation that it's happening. Well, honestly, from what I heard, the Harry Potter and the Cursed Child is kind of, it's kind of trash from what I heard. And this is not me being a hater. This is what I heard. I have not watched it or read it. So,
and it has a lot to do with like time turners. That has a lot to do with going back in time, revisiting old stuff. Like I've read it. It's honestly what it feels like to me. It's like a really bad like fan film is what it feels like. Like someone who just loves the Harry Potter franchise, and it's kind of neat to see. Like in the book, you can't see anything, but you're envisioning like an older Harry, an older Ron, older Hermione. You're seeing these characters, and you're seeing their kids kind of be how they were, like very like always getting into trouble, always thinking they got to save the day, and just like so the book or the screenwrite rather is it's very fan fiction, but look, albeit, dude, I'm a freaking nerd for this shit. So if they did it, I'd go see it for sure. I mean, it's one of those things.
Well, I haven't seen any of the Fantastic Beasts movies though, but I hear they're all terrible. So.
They're not good.
The first one is okay. The first one is okay. Oh, come on. But yeah, the other ones are bad. As Dylan said, they're fan fiction-y. They just keep like adding shit up for the sake of it, right? Like, oh, Albus Dumbledore had a lover, right? And had a huge fight, and just they keep adding plot lines that they either do not resolve or resolve in very absurd ways. You know, like the whole thing where Albus and Grindelwald had like a blood pact that they couldn't like hurt each other, and they break it by hurting each other. Like, I don't understand. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of tired. As much as I love the franchise, right? And the little kid in me would really love to see more of it. Every time they give us more of it, I hate it. Well, I don't hate it, but I don't. I'm very displeased with it, right? Even the Hogwarts Legacy. If you look, we're not going to talk about the game. I'm just going to talk about the story of that game, and it's trash. Let's not kid ourselves, right? Let's not kid ourselves. I've been having a lot of the bush.
I've been having a lot of fun with that. Yeah, the story's not anything special, but I've been having a lot of fun with that game.
Well, I mean that's okay. I'm just saying, right? There's a lot of cool things about the game that I like too. Like it has non-asshole Slytherin, which is great. You know, the first time in the franchise. Yeah, there's a lot of things that I like. But yeah, the main story is just.
What house did you guys get?
Slytherin.
Ravenclaw all the way.
I got Slytherin too.
I mean, you got to. That's the house. That's the house you have to pick. Like you picked Ravenclaw of all places, Jan. That's like
I didn't pick it. I got sorted. All right.
Yeah, I said the same thing. I was like, whatever house I get sorted into first, like that's the house I'll pick.
Yeah, exactly.
But I guess I heard there's an exclusive mission if you're a Hufflepuff and you get to go to Azkaban.
Yes, I heard about that.
Saying that. But that's like I don't know how good of a trade-off that is, because you got to play as the lamest house to get the coolest mission. I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's straight up the virgin house. So why would you want to pick that?
I was watching like this video that was talking about the various houses in Harry Potter, and the YouTuber, she described them as protagonist, antagonist, smart, and yellow. Those are the four houses.
Yeah, like I mean, like literally, like Gryffindor and Slytherin, they meet up for their virgin communes and things like that. Yeah, I damn well was not picking Gryffindor. I was, and even if the hat was Gryffindor, I'd be like, no.
Oh no, I agree on that one. Yes, no, please.
Yeah,
not the goody two shoes.
Yeah, my wife, she loves the colors. She loves Gryffindor. So like we actually got so for Christmas this year, I got these silicone rings, and it comes in like pairs, and I got her Gryffindor and I got Slytherin, and they're pretty cool, but
that's cute.
Yeah, it's very cute. Yeah, it's just so cute. Yeah, but you know,
not trying to mock.
That kind of but talking about Harry Potter now it's really for a question for both of you guys. Really is like with the whole J.K. and me and Jan talked about this, the whole J.K. Rowling controversy, the whole thing that goes with that. Do you even think that they would even because we made Hogwarts Legacy, so that's good, and we're having an okay time with it. We got our own things. We'll talk about it next week. But do you think they would even make any more media for the Harry Potter franchise as a whole now with the whole everything, the whole thing with J.K. Rowling? I mean, everybody knows the situation, you know, the comments she's made and things like that. I don't know how you guys feel about it. It's whatever. I don't, you know, I mean, I don't really want to go into that. But I mean, do you think they would make more media because of those comments? You know, with the way the world is nowadays.
Yes.
I mean, sounds like they are.
I mean,
it sounds like they are.
There's people that are like, because Did you guys know this? Just as an example, did you guys know there was a new Jeepers Creepers movie this past year?
Oh wow, no.
Yeah, it was
I
called
did
Jeepers
not.
Creepers Reborn. I didn't see it, but I saw
Oh,
clips
yeah.
of it, and it looked like the worst thing ever. But
Mhm.
everyone said it was terrible. But I don't know if you guys knew this. The director of who created Jeepers Creepers, his name is Victor Salva. Like he's kind of a horrible person, and I'll just say it involves children. And
Yeah.
they're still making stuff like in the Jeepers Creepers universe. So yeah, if they're still gonna make stuff like that, then yeah, they'll probably still make Harry Potter stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, what
Right.
Rowling did was nothing compared to that, huh? Oh well.
Yeah, and
Well, money can buy anything, I guess.
and also Harry Potter is one of the most popular franchises ever. So yeah, of course they'll still make stuff for it.
Right.
I mean, if anything, they'll not. If anything, what I can see them doing is not letting her be as involved. You know, kind of what they did with Rick and Morty with Justin Roiland. And if they do that, I think it's for the best. Because like after Harry Potter, which was written brilliantly, she kind of, I don't know, she lost her touch. Because like Fantastic Beast, as Dylan and I have said, is terribly written, and she's directly involved with it. So it is.
She wrote some of those scripts, I think. Well, she co-writer.
No. From what I understood, she was not much a co-writer. She was really in the room with them, with the writers. She could have looked at the script at any time and said, well, guys, this is not, this ain't it. But she didn't.
It's a little different though, like compared to Rick and Morty, because I just saw recently Justin Roiland apparently had little to nothing to do with that show.
Well that's what they keep saying.
Character.
Well, what's he keep saying? I think it's kind of, I mean, I don't know. So maybe it's true. Maybe it's right. But I think they're just trying to distance themselves from Justin Roiland, because like
I could see it going both ways.
Yeah, every week we get more news. Like at first they said, yeah, well, Justin Roiland, he only worked on the first few seasons, and he was just voicing them. Then on the next week they said, well, actually most of the production team never met Roiland. And there's like a bunch of comments that said, oh, you know what? Next week they're gonna say, oh yeah, then Harmon the comments. Yeah, I mean, I don't know this Justin Roiland person. They keep saying I made a show with him, but I don't know about that. He didn't actually say that, but I thought it was pretty fun. And I think that's what's happening. But again, I have no clue. What do I know, right? I'm just a guy on the internet.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, and I guess that would be kind of foolish to do, because I mean, you can just like me and the wife, we went to Universal Studios for our honeymoon 2 years ago, and I mean, we practically lived in Hogsmeade. We lived there. We literally was right in the Hogsmeade, and then right next door was the Hogwarts part of it, and you had all the shops, and we drank the butter beer, and we had a hell of a time over there. So like, with as big as a property as Harry Potter is, and that wizarding world, I don't expect it to go away in that capacity. I just didn't know if maybe they would like even like when you have actors like Daniel Radcliffe. I mean, he's been pretty open about her comments and how he doesn't appreciate what he said. So he's already pretty much moved on from this franchise, and I think now with those comments, I don't think he would ever even come back. What do you guys think?
But they just had the reunion last year, though.
Well, that's right. They did do that.
He wasn't in it, but they had the reunion. So.
That's right.
Wait.
Yeah.
But was the reunion before the whole debacle, or?
That's a good question. Possibly. I don't know when she made the comments that she did, but the reunion came out at the beginning of 2022. Like right on New Year's is when I watched it. So they definitely filmed it before that. So I don't know when she made those comments.
I feel like
either way, she wasn't involved in it. So maybe she did.
That's right. I feel like she made the comments like a few years ago. I want to say, I feel like I've been hearing about these comments for at least 3 or 4 years. So that would put it like 2018, 2019 timeframe. But I think our guy in the chair is going to get.
Yeah, I'm seeing an article about where it first starts reporting about.
Yeah, she wrote on like an entire like almost like memoir explaining the whole situation and
it's,
all that stuff.
June 2020. This one is dated June 2020, so it's at least 2020, at least 3 years. So yeah, way before the reunion.
Random question, Dylan. How is butterbeer?
Yeah, me too. I wanted to ask that.
Something tells me it tastes really good.
It does. All right. So this is really honestly, this is all it tastes like. It tastes like cream soda with just a hint of like whipped cream on top of it.
Oh.
That's essentially it.
I'd still try it.
Yeah, it's good. It's just really expensive. Like I think it costs like $10 for a cup, maybe like that big at Universal.
Yeah,
and so it was like $20.
It's amusement park concessions. Of course, it's going to be expensive.
Yeah. So it's a little ridiculous, but I mean, but I will say, like, and I'm telling you guys, like, and I know, Brand, I know you said that you like this franchise, but you don't like love it. I was a huge fan of this shit my entire childhood. So like being there in the middle of Hogsmeade and you hear the Harry Potter music playing, and I have a cup of butterbeer in my hand. Nothing like it. Nothing like it, man. Actually, I got a funny story. I don't know if that's Jan. Did I ever tell you the story about buying a wand at Universal, buying like a wand from?
I don't recall.
So they actually. So I don't think I told Brandon this when he was on the show last time, but they're essentially, so they have like an Ollivander's, like a wand shop at at Universal. They have a couple different like carts, and then they have like an actual shop. Well, I went to the shop and I picked out a wand. So they had Harry Potter's wand, Hermione, and all that good stuff. Anyway, they had Voldemort's wand on the table. Right. And I was like, man, Voldemort's wand looks awesome. It looks like a bone that's all crooked and stuff. And I thought it was great. And in the park, I don't know if you guys have ever been, but you can cast spells in the park. It's kind of cool. Like you stand in certain spots and you can like point your wand at like a storefront, and it might have books and stuff like that. And you move your hand a certain way, cast a spell. And awesome. It's interactive. It's pretty cool, especially if I was a kid, I'd eat this shit up.
Can you avoid Kadabra anybody?
I tried. It didn't work. Anyway, so I bought a Voldemort wand, and my wife, I forgot who she picked. And then I got my sister I think I just got her just a Harry Potter like replica wand, because I know she would want that one, because I couldn't figure out what she wanted. These wands are like $50 a piece, by the way. Anyway, that's besides the point. So we bought them, and I had my wand in my hand, and so I'm doing these like stupid little Patronus spells with this like sickly looking wand in the middle of the park. Nobody else had one. I was looking around, no one had Voldemort's wand. I was the only Tom Riddle there. So anyway, I go up to this window and I'm like casting a spell, and I couldn't get it to work. I was just trying to get these books, so I was like Leviosa, and it wouldn't, like the book would not pick up. Well, this little girl was like, I guess she was watching me do it. Like, I mean, she was little. I mean,
did she say it's not Leviosa?
Well, I thought she might. No, she said something even funnier. Like, well, I'm trying to cast a spell and I can't get the wand to work. I'm saying, well, I guess it's just an evil wand. And that's when I cast Avada Kedavra. Nothing happened, obviously. Well, anyway, the girl came over to me and she looked up at me, and she had these like beady little eyes, and she looked straight up at me and was like, I can't believe you picked Voldemort's wand like that. And I was like, whoa. And she had to stare on me. She looked at me so weird. I said, I think it looks cool, don't you? And she just looked at me. She whipped her head back, and she just turned the other way and left.
Damn.
I thought that was the most random thing ever. But I straight up like just got like toe to toe with this little girl.
I mean, she kind of wrecked you, not gonna lie.
Dude. Well, then I hit her with Avada Kedavra though, but she didn't.
Oh wow.
Didn't go down, man. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I hate kids. Anyway, so that's my Harry Potter story. Yeah, it's a blast. But yeah, just to answer your question though, yeah, butterbeer it's good. It's not worth the hype though. But I will say, like I said, if you just want a taste of it, cream soda, whipped cream, and you can have it hot or cold. I think I had it cold because it was hot as hell when I went. I mean, you couldn't even step outside. And
I'm assuming you went in Orlando.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I went to Universal Studios a long time ago in LA, but so the Hogwarts part of it wasn't even built yet when I went. Despicable Me was coming out. That's how long ago that was.
Oh damn. Man.
Yeah, so it's been a while. Because there were advertisements all over the park.
Yeah.
Like, this movie better be the greatest movie ever.
And it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Yeah, the first Despicable Me is good.
Yeah. We and the wife still sing that whole like, I'm having a very bad day. If you don't like it, then that shit like that slaps. Is that what the kids say now?
Yeah, it's a bop.
Pharrell went hard on that soundtrack, and he didn't need to.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the Tarzan soundtrack for Disney. Like that's
Yeah.
Phil Collins did not need to go that hard.
Phil Collins went all out for that.
Dude, the studio was on fire while he was like recording.
Yeah, really? Have you seen the meme of that guy playing a piano and it's on fire?
Yes,
that was Phil Collins making Tarzan.
That's actually footage. That's footage of him in the studio.
It's like he's got no skin left on his hands because he's just playing. No, that soundtrack goes. Yeah, the soundtrack goes really hard though. But yeah, you know, it's a great franchise. We get why it's so big, but it is like with all the controversy around it. I can't believe like it's nuts. Like not to get back on Hogwarts Legacy, but I will say on that, like you had all these people like that they were straight up just do not buy this game. If you buy it, you're transphobic and all this stuff. I could not believe like the hate. Like people were getting like straight up like almost death threats for buying a video game. Yeah. Isn't that crazy, guys?
You've seen nothing. There's like this YouTuber that I follow that they streamed the game. I didn't even buy it. They got a review code, so just streamed the game, and they got accused of being, you know, the transphobic and anti-Semitic, even though the chick that plays it is a Jew. So, but yeah, they pretty much get bullied into, you know, not ever streaming it again. It was crazy, and they're proud of it too.
Yeah, and that just encouraged people to buy it more, though. Like me, I was probably like you guys. Like, this game looks like fun, and I love Harry Potter, so I'm buying this game. Like, I'm not doing it to make a point or anything.
I mean, then you have like a bunch of edgelords, you know, going like, oh well, now that I know she made those comments, I'm definitely gonna buy it. That's cringe too. So like, nobody wins.
You're not cool.
So it's like, do we not have anything better to do than to boycott a game that for like, again, you know, and me and Jan talked about on the last episode, you know, we're trying our best, and Branden, we see you got a PS5 in the back there. I don't know how often you play. I don't know if you play as much as me and Jan. I mean, I've been so busy, guys. I got so much stuff going on with work and life in general. It's just hard, especially with a game like Hogwarts Legacy. It's such a huge game, and I just don't have the time to really put any time into it. And when I do have time, I don't want to play it. I've been playing Resident Evil 4, the 2005 version, because it's a quicker game. It's not as big, and I'm getting ready for the remake. And that's just what I've been playing just to wind down, just to enjoy it. Because I want to enjoy gaming again, man. I have not enjoyed it in a long time. So I guess the question for you, Branden, is: do you play a lot of games, and what are you really liking about Hogwarts Legacy? I mean, what are you really liking about it?
I play games a lot, like, because fairly recently I was like, you know what, I really want to, because when I got a PS5, I was like, there's so many games on the PS5 that I want to get, and because especially fairly recently, I haven't really invested so much time into a game, and I love that feeling of being so into a game and just wanting to go home and play it. So, like, to kill time before Hogwarts Legacy came out, I bought Dead Space, and I played Dead Space when it came out a long time ago, but I'd never beaten it. I only played like bits and pieces. So and I beat that in one go, like in probably a few days, just to hold myself over until Hogwarts Legacy came out. And that game is great. It's really hard though. Have you guys played the Dead Space?
Oh yeah, I have. Yeah, it's
really hard, and I was only on normal.
Oh, well, I only played the original, but I do remember struggling on that one too.
Yeah, it's actually a surprisingly hard game, and I played Gotham Knights a little bit because a friend got me that for Christmas, and it's there's some things I like about it, but it's not a great game.
It's just that what kills me about that, like I want to, because look, I'm a huge like Batman and I'm really excited for Suicide Squad. I know not a lot of people are. I really am. Like the gameplay, I'm not gonna say it looked like, oh my god, it like blew me away, but anyway, I say all that to say, like Gotham Knights, I want to like it. I love all those characters: Nightwing, Robin, Batwoman, and Red Hood. I love all those characters, but the game plays like shit. There's no way it should be 30 FPS on PS5. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I didn't like how, because especially coming off the Arkham games, I didn't like how how you move around the world. Like you have to zip to one place, jump, zip to another place, jump, zip to another. I was like, as Batman, I can just fly around. I can glide.
Well, later you get you get the ability to glide later on, but
the glider
since the beginning.
Oh, that's fast travel. Because I thought when we got there, when Lucius Fox introduced that to you, I'm like, are we actually gonna get to fly this thing? That's awesome. But no, it's just a fast travel. Yeah, but I think I rage quit that game because I couldn't beat a boss, and I'm like, we'll see if I go back to it.
Yeah, but back to Dead Space though. So you did beat it though.
I did beat it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's dude. I mean, it's a really clean, really good like recreation of a classic game. I mean, I never actually beat the original version. I've only played bits and pieces because when I was a kid, I had this funny thing about survival horror games. I sucked at them, and I just did not like that style of game. Now I love them. I mean, Resident Evil 2 remake is probably one of my favorite games of all time. It's in my top 5. I've been trying to get Jan to get into these games. I know he's on his own.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, dude.
I really want to.
I just beat Village not too long ago.
Oh, that's good.
The Village is good. Biohazard is really good too. I like those games.
Yeah, 7. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. 7. See, 7 is a mixed bag for some people because it was kind of that switch back to straight up horror, and it's also the combat is it's slowed down. It's very, very slow. The way Ethan moves, he moves so damn slow. Like you got Jack chasing after you, Ethan, and you're moving so slow the whole time. It's like, man, you can't. Which in these games you're not really supposed to like freaking sprint, but I mean, this dude's just so damn.
It gets
slow,
your heart
man.
pumping though. That's for sure.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, it does.
That first sequence where you fight Mia, oh my god, that shit's scary, man. I was like,
and when the scene when the mom like turns into like a spider and she's got like that sack.
Yeah.
And she's crawling on the walls. I'm like, this is frightening.
Yeah, it's dark. It's really, really dark. Yeah, man. That's a good one. I enjoy it. I mean, it's kind of stupid when you have your hand chopped off and you pour some shit on it and it grows.
And then it just reattaches.
Yeah, attaches back. Yeah, attaches back. Yeah. But I mean, I know there's a whole explanation of that in Village, which I thought was a pretty decent, like, I guess you could say payoff or resolution that he's infected with the mold, you know. But yeah, I love, as you can see, I love Resident Evil. I love it. It's even its corny and most cheesiest moments. I freaking love it. The movies, no.
Did you watch the show?
I have not watched the show.
The show on Netflix, it got canceled after one season.
Yeah,
but it looked awful. It looked so bad. There's a scene that it went viral because of how cringe it was, but there's a scene where a character literally sings and dances to a Dua Lipa song.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and you're just like, this is Resident Evil.
Yeah, and it's a shame. It's a shame because I like the guy they picked to play Albert Wesker though. I can't remember what his. You probably know the actor's name, don't you, Brandon? The guy who plays Albert Wesker. Huh?
Lance Reddick.
Oh, that's right, Lance Reddick. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I love that guy. Like, especially like in John Wick, he's playing a bunch of other stuff. He was in Horizon Forbidden West a little bit too. Like he's kind of like, yeah. He's like, I'm trying to think. I can't remember what a character he is, but he's basically he's a black gentleman that helps out Aloy along the way.
Oh, he's the young guy. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Well, not the young guy. He's like I'm trying to see. I don't know the story of Horizon that well.
Okay.
He's kind of like the bad guy. Yeah, Silence. That's it. That's it. Yeah, he's in Horizon Zero Dawn, and then he's also in Forbidden West too. Yeah, and he's been in a bunch of stuff. But I did think that was a pretty cool move to make him Albert Wesker. But yeah, I hear the show sucks. So
it got canceled after one season.
I didn't touch it.
But I'm curious, just because we're on the subject of scary games, what's the scariest game you guys have played?
That's gotta be.
You want to go first, Jan? What you got?
No. I'm just thinking out loud. If you can think of one before me, then go right ahead. I'm thinking.
That's a tough one. Like the scariest, man. I guess maybe like Outlast.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, Outlast scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like about those games is I hate being defenseless, man. I can't.
Yeah, that's what makes it scary. You can't fight back. You just gotta run away.
Yeah,
yeah. But yeah, Outlast scared me because they turn all the lights out, and you're just like,
Yeah.
oh no.
Yeah, Outlast 2 was pretty scary as well, but it just had more like effed up stuff in it. Like I remember playing the demo, and it has something to do with like a bunch of fetuses. Do you guys remember that? Have y'all ever seen that? Like in the demo, like a bunch of.
I played Outlast
played the
2, but I
second
don't
one.
remember what you're talking. Outlast 2 isn't that great of a game, but it is scary. But I don't remember what you're talking about.
It's like you go into like this barn area, and it's like a bunch of like, it almost reminds. It's either like, I hope it's baby dolls and not actual like babies, but it looks like a bunch of like baby corpses all over the ground in the demo. I remember going to his room and saying, I'm like, what the hell is that? Like, what is, like, this game is like pushing some serious boundaries. I kind of like it, but it's also effed up because like you don't know, like, you know what I mean? I think I'm pretty sure that happens in Outlast 2, but I could be wrong about that. But yeah, Outlast. I think Outlast was scariest. I will say though, I think Resident Evil 7 gave me a good scare too. I will say, like, Jack following me around the house, the Baker home. I thought like that was just scary. Like, especially when you could hear him coming and then he's talking to you. Mm-hmm. I hear you, and then you hear those.
It also
then he goes through the wall.
And yeah, you're right, Dylan. There, I just looked it up. It's a pile of dead children.
Oh shit!
So nice. That's nightmare fuel.
Yeah, that's why I remember
it. Well, Outlast 1 was pretty gross too. There was like, I think in the DLC, there's a part where the guy wants to chop your penis off.
The DLC for Outlast 1?
Yeah, a whistleblower. There's a thing where this guy wants to turn you into his wife or something. So he straps you to a chair and he goes, yeah. He wants to give you like a sex altering procedure. He goes, you're gonna put a bit of meat on there, touch your chest. Oh, we gotta get rid of this. Well, touching your penis. Yeah,
do you guys remember the game that well?
No.
Okay.
I watched the Let's Plays in 2014, and that's it.
There's these two twins like that chase after you, and they talk very quietly. And I remember there was a part in the game where you're going down like this long dark hallway, and you can't see anything, but there's like a window that's open. And when I was playing the game, I was like, something is telling me I need to jump out that window because there's no reason for it to just be open. Mm-hmm. And I did it, and inside I just hear, my God, he disappeared. And I was like, oh, good thing I jumped out the window. And I was like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's spooky.
Yeah. No, I'll be honest with you though. I don't know how you guys are really like, because I know we're all a little bit older now. So like when I'm playing a scary game, I'm never actually really ever scared. Really, I just more of my anxiety. I deal with anxiety, and like I can feel like I'm playing RE4 right now, right? And I don't know if you guys really play Resident Evil 4, but in that game, Leon, while he is a tank, the character you play as, you can't move while aiming. Yeah,
you can only,
so you got enemies coming like this way from both sides behind you, and you can't freaking move. And when you start getting surrounded, it's like I feel like I'm there. I feel like I'm like getting like really like enclosed, you know what I mean? And so I have more of those feelings when I play games. And when that happens, I play through the segment and then I take a break because I just like I gotta take a break, man. When I played Dead Space remake, I don't know what part I was at, but I got overwhelmed. Like every second, I had a necromorph trying to like tear my neck out, and they just kept coming, and I was like, I saved and I was like, this is it. I got to put it down because I just, or else I'll freaking lose it, you know?
Yeah.
So, and it's crazy that a game can do that to you. Like, I'm not scared, but it's just like, it just gets you so amped up. It's like, I'm kind of like on a high and I have to come back down. You know what I mean? Kind of something like that. And, which by the way, I'll ask you this about Dead Space, Branden. When you played it on PS5, obviously, did the game look kind of fuzzy to you? Did it look kind of like crappy at first when you first started playing it? Because when I played it when it released, like the first like day or so after release, and it just looked really muddy. Like the visuals just looked like crap. And I was almost like really pissed. I was like, man, like PlayStation 1, I bought the game digitally, which was my first mistake. And I bought it and I'm sitting there like, man, I'm about to return this shit because it looked bad. Like it looked so washed out. Like your Isaac looked like shit. And it was taking me out of it. Like the scenes where there was like a dark corridor and shit's chopping out at you. It just looks so bad. I don't know if you had that same issue. I think they cleared it up now. They released a patch where it looks a lot better.
Yeah, no, I thought it looked fantastic. No, I didn't have any issues with the way it looked.
Shoot. Well, Maybe it's my PS5 then. Maybe it's busted. I don't know. Which, I mean, if it is busted, I don't know. I don't know how it is over there for you, Jan, and I'm assuming it's the same way over here for you, Brandon. But I see that the PS5s are readily available now. You can get a PS5 pretty much everywhere now.
Yeah, I got mine in like August, I think. I think I bought it online from Walmart. It was there in 2 days.
That's right.
Yeah, it got here really quick.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it on shelves, but I am seeing it readily available online.
Yeah,
many storefronts. So
yeah, that's good. That's good. I mean, that's finally good. Maybe
nature is here.
Yeah, finally, next gen is truly here because now we can leave trash ass consoles behind, be done with PS5 and Xbox One, PS4 and Xbox One, and focus on PS5 and Xbox Series X only games. Because I'm disappointed, Resident Evil 4 is still like cross-platform. Yeah. And it sucks because that game looks amazing. That game looks absolutely amazing. Why is that coming out for PS4?
Well, I mean, it's still using the same, as I understand it, it's still using the same engine that the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake were using. So I don't know, maybe it's that. Like the PS4 can handle those and you can handle this one. But I think this year is like the last year that we're going to see so many cross-platform releases. Spider-Man 2 is already going to be a PS5 exclusive.
It's something they've always done, though.
Like really,
not to this extent. If
Because
you're talking about like the last generations.
Yeah. When the PS3 was out, they still released those games for PS2.
Yeah, okay, that was a bit of a different thing. The PS2 versions were actually radically different. Sometimes even made by different studios. To go back, I can remember. I remember Tomb Raider and Underworld, which came out in 2008. For like every console under the sun. It came out for Wii, for PlayStation 2, for PlayStation 3. And like each console had a different version. Sometimes they were similar, like the PS2 and the Wii version were somehow similar, but they were very different from the PS3 version and the Xbox 360 version.
Yeah,
so that's a bit different.
I can vouch for that because I was watching this video of a gameplay comparison. This guy was playing Spider-Man 3 on Xbox 360, and then he played it on the original Xbox. And you see the night and day difference. Like, Spider-Man 3 on Xbox 360, let's be honest, the graphics are not great.
It's horrible.
But you can tell, though, like the huge graphic disparity between the two. So, but yeah, on to what Jan was saying. Yeah, not to this certain extent. I feel like, how far are we in? Are we like 3 years in now?
3 years in, halfway through.
Yeah. We're 3 years in now. I think at this point, I mean, maybe like, I see where Brandon's going with this. Maybe I could see maybe one more year of this cross-platform shit. But after that, you cannot do it no more. I just don't feel like you can do it anymore.
They stop it.
I don't see. Well, I mean, they're already talking about like the PS6, right? They're talking about Mike Cerny, the lead software engineer of the PS4 and PS5. He might be working on a new project, which is either a PS5 Pro or a PlayStation 6. And I'm like, dude, we haven't seen much of the PS5's catalog, right?
Yeah.
And you're already working on a PS6.
Not a true
an exclusive,
PS5.
PS5 catalog. Of course, we've seen a lot of games that run much better on PS5 than on PS4, but that's not really what we bought it, right? We didn't buy just another PS4 Pro. We bought something, that gives us something that we could only play with this one, right?
Yeah. Like I get excited when I can play like the Dead Space remake, right? That is current gen only, right? Yeah, I appreciate that. I want that. Like The Last of Us Part 1, right? The remake. I know people want to complain and bitch and moan about buying the same game again. Listen, I'll buy The Last of Us as many times as they release it. I love that game so much that even if they release for PS6 and make the graphics even more realistic, I will buy it again.
Yeah, definitely. Honestly, because I kind of... Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I don't even know what I was going to say. What were you going to say, Brandon?
Who, which one?
No, you go ahead, Brandon. You look like you're about to say something, man. You go ahead.
Yeah. I was just. No, it's all good. I was just going to say, the Last of Us show has really been making me want to replay the game again. I don't have the first one readily available. I have that for PS3, and I don't have my PS3 here. But it's like maybe I'll play The Last of Us Part 2 again, because that was one of the last games I got for my PS4. And I remember even at the time, it looked incredible. Like that thing brought the PS4 to its full capabilities. It made it squeal as loud as possible. I felt like my PS4 was going to explode when I put that game in there.
Yeah.
And I almost like being at an airport.
I almost felt bad for it, but I've been wanting to replay those games because I haven't played the first Last of Us in so long.
Dude,
but it was so good.
You got to look when it gets discounted. When because I understand it's a hard sell, right? Like you're buying the same game that you've already played, but I think again I'll let Jan give his piece on it, but I think it's totally worth it to get the part 1 remake because everything from the ground up is just visually pleasing, more pleasing, and I think the game just to see that story again, and after I've had my issues with the show and going back through these important set pieces in the game and playing it on the PS5 with the visual fidelity being as crisp as you can get it on the PS5, man, it really is like a sight for sore eyes, man. And I'm sure Jan can vouch for me on that. We had a whole episode dedicated to it, so that means something.
Yeah. Honestly, if you don't feel like waiting for the discount, just buy the remaster, which is
I'll get it eventually. I don't know when, but I will.
Yeah, I think that the PS4 version, just runs just as well. It's just as pretty, but of course it's not as beautiful, right? But I think it's still a very decent game. If you don't feel buying the 50 extra bucks or however much it costs.
All right, now come on, Jan. Now listen, man, you gotta be there. You gotta. I thought I could lean on you on this, man. Listen, yes, the remastered is great. I will say, if you're just gonna play it through again, of course, just do the remastered. However, the part 1 remake is out. If it comes down to like $30, snatch it. I don't think it's
okay. If it comes down to $30, it's not going to. I think right
now it might be down to 50. I think right now, currently on the PlayStation Store.
Is it? Would you check on that? Would you bet your life on it?
No, but I'm pretty sure it is.
Well, let's just check here because I don't.
All right, come on, guy in the chair. Give us an accurate price here.
Would
I'm pretty sure it's
your life on it. That's
I know, dude. Y'all makes this shit so serious, man.
You're the one making it serious. You're saying that I betray your fucking trust.
I'm just trying to tell my buddy Branden. I'm just trying to tell my buddy Branden, who I've met through this beautiful social network, right?
And give his
I'm telling Branden the best way to play it and to replay it and to see the story is to play the remake. Now I get it; it's a hard sell. However, the game is a masterpiece. So if you have the extra $50 to $60, just pick it up. You know what I mean?
Well,
I think it's totally more worth it.
Well, it might be different in the States, but over here, it's still sitting at its original price. So
on the PlayStation Store?
Right. Yeah, on the PlayStation Store. Unless you're going to buy the deluxe edition, which is even more expensive, where you get fantastic perks, such as you get the ability to build stuff faster, create gadget faster early. I think it's really worth it. $10.
You're talking about part 1, right?
Yeah, part one.
Yeah, I'm seeing it as $70.
It's still 70. Okay, well, they must have just had a sale just recently, and I saw it for 50. So I'm sorry about that. I mean, I'm glad I didn't bet my life on it because I'd be dead.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm here for, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be here to warn you.
No. What? No. I mean, we need the guy in the chair. We need him for this kind of thing. You got to be able to correct me when I'm wrong. So,
all right. Okay.
But I'm just saying that I know that also too. Me and Jan, we try to be up to date on most things that come out. So obviously, a $70 remake of a game we've beaten like 10 times is probably like, oh yeah, it's $70, but I got to get it. So I get it to some people. They're not like, not like us. We're dumb. So we buy the same game.
Well, it's The Last of Us. I wouldn't do it for any game. Yeah, like The Last of Us, as you said that if it comes out for PS6, you would buy it. I'm like, I hope it happens. Because, at this point, I want to make my little collection of the Last of Us re-releases. I have my 3 or still in-box copies of Last of Us for PS3, PS4, and PS5, and just missing the PS6 one, I think it would really put the thing together,
Now you just got to get you a good PC and get part 1 on PC, and then you got the you got the Last of Us part 1 on everything.
I would have loved that, but it's digital only. I don't think there's like a physical release for PC. I hate that so much.
They don't really make physical releases for PC anymore. It's like all Steam.
Yeah.
It's a little lame.
They could do Last of Us Part 2 remake for PS5.
I think they
There
should.
we go. Okay.
I think they should.
Should they?
I'll buy it. I'll buy it.
I'm kidding though. Well,
No, please.
I don't think I don't think it's happening because realistically, because they did an update on part 2 to make it run better on PS5.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of tells me that that's the effort they're going to put in.
Well, let me ask you this, and Brandon might know if you don't, Jan, but didn't The Last of Us remastered? Did that play 60 FPS on PS4?
It did. Yes,
it did.
I'm not sure.
Okay, because I thought maybe they added that later when the PS5. So The Last of Us remaster was already 60 FPS, and then they just released Part 1, which is just a visual upgrade where you get the original game and the Left Behind DLC, which just happened in the show, by the way. We just saw that in the show.
It did.
So so I'll leave it at that. I won't make Brandon's ears bleed, although I should. Before we leave,
why you didn't like it?
I didn't mind it. I thought it was. I made a review for it on the channel, and I've been the same way. Like every review I've done, I have literally been more positive. I've been negative, but I've given each episode like a scale out of 10. I've given each one between a 5 and a 7. Besides the premiere, I gave that one a 9, and I gave the second episode an 8. All the other ones have been a 5 through a 7. Okay, so while I do have a lot of negatives, I have not been like even episode 3, right? That was a very controversial episode, right? You just had, these two guys, two lovers, the entire episode, right? I didn't even get that one. Like some people were giving it like a 2 out of 10, 0, like saying it's horrible. I wasn't even saying that. I was saying I think I gave it a 5 because I just didn't really. I was like, all right, that's fine. I mean, that's pretty much how I was the whole time. I was just okay. Kind of touching, I guess. But that was pretty much it. I just gave it 5 out of 10. So I have not been shitting on the show. I've just been really negative. I have because, again, I've beaten the game. I'm working on my 7th playthrough, guys. My 7th playthrough. I'm playing that while I'm playing RE4, and because I needed a break from Hogwarts Legacy. This shit was like driving me nuts. So I've been playing part 1 and RE4, and I'm just kind of playing the game with the show, and I'm just sitting here like, man, the game just does it better, and I don't think it's fair to tell me not to compare it to the game.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I think we discussed enough about this. I kind of threw it. I thought we were gonna talk about the episode.
Oh, we can talk about the episode. I'm just saying, like, to me, like, even like with the Last of Us, like DLC, like with the gameplay portion, I still felt like. I felt that story between Ellie and Riley. It hit a little bit harder in the games. I feel like you just got to know them a little bit more. Now I know it's a game, so they got to prolong it a little bit. They got to have different sequences. But I don't know. I felt like I don't know how you guys felt, and we can make this a last topic of discussion because I know it's late for Jan over there. But I just felt like Riley and Ellie's chemistry in this episode didn't really hit for me. I didn't really feel like they were best friends. You know what it is?
You know what it is? I actually one thing that I noted is that they act way more way more insufferable. They're way more insufferable in general. And Ellie is throughout the entire show, but then Riley is too. And it kind of clicked for me. I think that's way more realistic, right? I think that when a show portrays 14-year-olds as people you don't want to hang out with, I think they struck gold. I think that's how they wrote a good 14-year-old, right? Because come on, most 14-year-olds are like, pretty immature, right? Arrogant, and most of the time it's vicious. So I think that them being like that kind of makes sense. But honestly, and I have to complain here, I never really liked the Left Behind deal. Not that I didn't like it, I didn't care for it as much as I did for the main game. So I wasn't really looking forward for this episode as much as I did for the other ones. I think it was okay. I think it was fine. Yeah, this way I felt about the Left Behind DLC. So I think that's all I gotta say about that topic.
All right, Brandon, what you got? Let me hear it.
Yeah, I honestly didn't hate the episode, but I thought it was the weakest of the show so far. Well, and I didn't play the Left Behind DLC. I never got around to it because the first time I played The Last of Us, I was in high school, I think. I didn't have a job, so I didn't really have my own money to purchase the DLC, so I just never played it. But yeah, I thought the episode was kind of boring. I don't really have anything to compare it to since I've never played the DLC, but I just didn't. I don't know what it was about it. I just didn't really find it all that interesting. And I was like, that episode. It wasn't bad, but it was definitely the worst one of the show so far.
Mm-hmm. Right. So I want you to indulge me and Jan here, because I've seen a little bit of your somewhat reviewing of the show, Brandon. So to close the show out here, and we'll kind of give you our last thoughts on your opinion on it. Give me one of the main reasons why this show, if I use the wrong word here, don't take it personal. I'm just saying, what really makes you vibe with the Last of Us TV show? What makes you because you seem to be way more positive about it than probably me or Jan. I think Jan is a bit more positive about it than me.
I like it.
What makes you so like positive about the show? Like, what really makes you like it? Because I'm just having this hard time to like it.
I guess for me, the reason I like it so much is that it feels fresh, but it also stays true to the source material.
Mm-hmm.
Because I watched every episode with one of my best friends, and I remember we were watching the first episode, and we were like blown away at how some of the sequences, especially in the first episode, looked like they were ripped straight from the game. Especially the scene when in the truck when they're driving and everyone's running around. I was like, that looks exactly how it did in the game. That's pretty amazing that they were able to pull that off. But they stay true to the source material and faithful to it, but at the same time, they're bringing new ideas to the table and they're expanding on these characters that we didn't really know that well in the game. Like, we didn't really know a lot about Bill and Frank, and they got a whole episode dedicated to them. And Frank in the game, I think, was just mentioned in passing. If I remember correctly, he's just hanging because he killed himself. And Bill's like, "Oh, that's my partner, Frank."
Very much.
That's all you know about him. But now we know, like, their whole lives basically in the span of one episode. And same with Sam and Henry. I mean, the way their lives ended was the same. But if spoiler, I'm sorry if anyone hasn't seen the episode, but we got a whole episode following them too, and they made a change to Sam that I personally thought was really good. They made him deaf, and that made him just that more reliant on Henry, because in the game you kind of got the idea he could take care of himself a little bit, but in the show he can't take care of himself at all. That's why he needs Henry to be there, and it made them more relatable, and you could sympathize with them a lot more. And so it strays a little bit from the game, but it also adds so many new things that I think make it feel like something new. And that's why I really enjoy the show as much as I do.
Right. So would you say so you play the original game. You've only beaten it one time through?
Like,
is that what
two or three times maybe, but I remember it fairly well. It's just been a long time since I played it.
Okay, so let me ask you this. One of my main gripes with this show is I don't feel like this world has a full sense of danger. I don't really feel like the characters are put in situations where they have to fight for their life, as opposed to the source material, the game. Oh shit! I know your camera almost face down, ass up. Anyway, or face up, ass down, whatever. So on that note, I mean, does that not bother you anyway? Do you see what I'm talking about? I mean, do you as far as there not being really full on terror? There's not. I don't really feel like there's real stakes in this show. Would you agree with that, or is there a good way, a good rebuttal to that? Do you feel like there actually is some real stakes with the characters?
Yeah, honestly, yeah, I disagree. I think because you never know, because there's several moments in the show where they're kind of walking along and minding their own business, and then something happens, like when they're walking in that neighborhood and that sniper is shooting at them. Obviously they didn't expect that guy to be there. So yeah, I think the danger could come out of the shadows and come after them at any time, personally, but we all get a different experience from it. But yeah, I don't think that I think there's stakes for sure.
Right. So you don't. So how about as far as brutality go? Right. When you think about HBO Max, right? You think about HBO. HBO is a mostly an adult rated platform, and the fact that there's no gore in a world like this,
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't bother you either? Do you think there should be? I mean, not that I'm a gore nut. I've said this a bunch of times. I'm not saying that I have to have gore and everything I watch. However, in a world like this, I feel like that's kind of expected. Is that not? It's not an issue with you?
Kind of yes and no, because the games are very brutal. Because I know in the games you can blow people's limbs off, but I do remember seeing before the show premiered that they were going to try to make the brutality a little bit less in the show, which I was like, that's kind of interesting because it's a pretty brutal game. And I thought it was interesting that a lot of the deaths of the characters happen off screen. Mm-hmm. So I can understand that to an extent, but it doesn't kill the show for me.
Right.
Because there's some brutal moments, like it happens in the background, but in the episode when the bloater comes out and the guy who plays Tommy in the games just gets ripped in half. I mean, you see that happening, but it does happen in the background.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's not a deal breaker, but I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, I think my main, and Jan's heard this spiel, so I'm not going to go far into it, but pretty much my main spiel is I just don't feel like the world feels as dangerous to me. Mm-hmm. I feel like I just, like, for instance, when Joel and Ellie are just walking down the road, like, okay, this is a good comparison, maybe it's not, but I compare it to like Walking Dead, right? A lot of in the Walking Dead, you'd have two characters, and let's say they're walking down the road, and then some walkers appear. They're like they're just walking down the road, or they're in the woods, or whatever, or they come across a horde in the middle of the street. Now I know in The Last of Us, it's more about these tendrils. It's more about like if you step on this one, I don't even know what the hell you call it. It's on this one little like piece on the ground.
It's like a root.
Yeah, you can alert. Mm-hmm. You can alert like thousands of them. And I know that's a different concept in The Walking Dead, obviously. But wouldn't you think there'd be just a little bit more danger? You feel like there'd be a little bit more infected out there, maybe more survivors. Wouldn't you think they'd run into a little bit more on the road? Don't you think?
Well, you know what? If I can interject, I think
go ahead.
The problem I have with it is not that there's not a lot of infected, but it's that their demeanor is a bit too laid back from some people who are treading into a territory that is potentially festering with man-eating zombies, right? I do not. I'm pretty much on the same page as our guest here, where I don't. It's not a deal breaker for me, right? But I do notice it. It's very noticeable, especially if you played a lot of the games, right? There are these segments where Joel and Ellie are just, strolling through these scenarios, right? They're just talking, chit chat, which does happen in the game, but in the game, they're always a bit more on edge. Well, here, they're pretty much having like a Sunday stroll.
Well, it's a bit different because they're different forms of media. That's a video game, and this is a television show. In a video game, it's obviously the main point of the entertainment is to have the player be involved. So that's why there's more interaction with people shooting at you and more infected. But it's a TV show. If they did that every few seconds, then it feels like it would kind of become a little bit more boring.
Right. Yeah, no, and I agree with that. I agree with I'm gonna let you finish, Jan, if you had another thought. But my thing is the random encounters, I don't even need that. Okay. My thing is like the shootout with Joel, when Joel and Ellie, they crash into that gas station when they're in Cincinnati, I believe. And they that Raiders
Pittsburgh.
Out in the middle of the road. Oh, my bad. Well, I think in the game it's Pittsburgh, and in the show it's Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah. That could be. Yeah,
the show they were in Kansas City.
Oh, maybe that's what it was. I'm sorry. It was Kansas City. So they run into the shop, right? Just like how in the game. And I know it's unrealistic, like a 50-some-year-old man fighting off 12 dudes. Obviously, that's a scenario where he's going to die. I totally get that. And I would have been honestly, if it was like 12 guys and it was one older man, I'd be like, okay, you know what I mean? That's like very video game. I've been fine with it, but whatever. But like in that shootout, like there was only like two guys there. They couldn't shoot for shit. When someone did get shot, there was no blood, no bullet holes, no nothing. And I'm sitting here like, I feel like that takes me out of it. That's the immersion breaking for me because I expect to see some blood. I want to see a little bit of that. I want to see a little brutality. And I feel like it's missing that essence from the game where it makes me feel like, oh crap, these people, like when that scrawny guy bodied Joel for some reason, I'm sitting there like, how did this punk kid like overpower Joel? Now you understand that later. I get that. But like when he overpowered Joel and had the gun up on his neck and was choking him, obviously, Joel's not going to die right there. But I was thinking to myself, like, even if I didn't know that, I would not think his life is in danger right there, because up until this point, I just don't feel like there's much danger. I don't feel the danger. The only time I really feel danger is when Bill's stupid ass is standing in the middle of the road where there's raiders come up to his gate where he set traps up, and they're shooting at him from behind the fence, and he's just standing out in the middle of the road shooting these guys. This survivalist that apparently knows his way around firearms, very smart guy. He's like a prepper, and he's standing out in the middle of the road trying to shoot guys. I thought that was stupid. That was immersion breaking, in my opinion. And I just felt like that was the only time there was real danger. You know what I mean? But even then, it wasn't really. It was just kind of a cool scene. You start seeing Bill's traps go off, and I thought that was pretty neat. I did like that. So that I just feel like that's my main gripe with it is danger. I don't like even this next episode. I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna watch it tonight. But I just don't feel like the danger's there. Because I feel like they're trying to hold back on the violence to I guess address some kind of, I don't know if they're trying to address an agenda or not. I did tell Jan last episode. I don't know if you heard this, Brandon, but I did hear something about that they were trying to bring awareness to gun violence, which was a reason why the shootouts in this show are very tamed and things like that. But I feel like that's not how. I don't know how you bring awareness to that in the way they're doing it, but I digress. Listen, I just feel like it's just not enough danger in the show, and that's my main problem with it.
Okay.
And that's been my main complaint. So I know that I'm probably in a minority there, because I know a lot of people are enjoying it, and that's why I say in every video I've ever made, I say, look, this show gives me an opportunity to talk about a franchise and make it relevant, like a franchise that I love, and make it relevant. And like with me, I was a big Walking Dead fan, even in the seasons that were shit. I stuck with it to the very end. And now with Walking Dead over, well, at least the main show, I know they got like 5 spinoffs, but it gives me something to look forward to, and I miss it. But my thing is, all these shows' greatest moments, and I think Jan can vouch for me here, and I don't want to hold him up too much longer because I know it's getting late. But my thing is, a lot of the deeper story moments, Sam and Henry, even the Sarah scene at the beginning, which I thought was pretty well done in the show, the test death and everything in between, I just feel like they were just better. They were just better done in the game, in my opinion. It felt like they had a little bit more heft to it. I felt like the acting was just more powerful. I'm playing through the game my 7th time, and I'm still feeling something for these characters. And I feel like that speaks volumes. And again, that's just me, but that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that I kind of feel the way Dylan does to some extent. I think that when there are these scenes that are, very similar to the ones in game, and I almost always prefer the video game counterpart. Although many times I do not dislike the version of the TV show. Yeah, I wouldn't take it that far. The only one that I could not enjoy for some reason was the one where Sam and Henry made their end. This one with the TV show, I actually thought it was not handled as well. I cannot put my finger on it. Maybe it was the music. Maybe it was I think it was the pauses between the lines, right? But I just thought it wasn't as impactful. But for everything else, I thought it was very well done. And maybe just my bias makes me prefer the games more. Although episode 6, I believe, where it has the whole, the big climax, where emotional climax, right? Yeah. Where Joel tries to get rid of Ellie. That scene I really liked in the TV show. I thought it was done very well.
I really liked episode 6, man. I will say, I think episode 6 is probably right. Like it's premiere, second episode, and then episode 6 for me, because episode 6 was just really they're really grounded, like as far as the connection between Joel and Tommy, and seeing them reunited, and then Joel breaking down and telling him like, listen, man, I need you to finish this trip, taking it to the Fireflies, because I can't do it. I'm 56 years old. 5 years ago, I would have bodied this skinny prick that had me on the ground and almost killed me. I need you to take her. And I felt that, man. I felt that, because he just didn't want to lose her again. And I could feel it. And I was like, man, someone's cutting some fucking onions in here. That actually got me. I will say that
is different from the game. It's different from the game, but I really liked it. It changed are very much welcomed.
Yeah, no, that was a good one. That was a good one. So so the show does have its moments, but but then the scene right after that where Joel is talking to Ellie, and that's when she goes, "Everyone who's been with me has either died or left me. Everyone except for you,"
except
and pushes
for
him.
you.
It didn't really feel the same in the show. Like in the game, it felt more emotion filled as opposed in the show. She just came off more aggressive. She was like, "Everyone except for you." Like she just looked angry to me. But I don't know. I don't know. That's my opinion.
I liked it.
You liked it? Okay, well, that's fair. That's fair. There's nothing wrong with that.
I think I've liked every episode except the most recent one. That's just me, though.
Well, like again, I come off as a hater, but I swear that's not what I'm coming off. I do like these episodes. I just don't love them. I don't understand this pristine writing, greatest show of all time. Like all these,
it's because all the bar is very low.
Yeah, I get that, man. But dude, Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad, early stages.
I'm talking about as in video game adaptations.
Right. Well, yeah.
Video game adaptations, in that sense, the bar is low. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I get it. But I mean, some of these people are just talking as if this is the greatest writing ever. And I just don't understand, man. Everything they're doing, The Walking Dead has done at one point or another, if not better. And they're over here praising it as if it's like the best thing ever freaking made.
Well, I think a lot of people love it as much as they do is because they didn't play the game. So it's something completely new to them. So that's why they love it so much.
Yeah. Right. You know what I've seen? It's like an image floating around the net of there's like a game store or a store in general which was selling the game. The game was like on a shelf. And beneath the game, you had the price, and then it wrote the game The Last of Us, And then you had like a little, they wrote in a marker, something like based on the hit TV show.
Based on the hit TV show.
And that killed me. That killed me, yeah. It was. I think that's the saddest thing. I think there's a lot of people who probably believe that. When they would see that, they're like, "Oh shit, damn! The show is so popular. They already made a game about it."
Yeah.
Oh man. So you're fairly positive about the show, Brandon, and are we expecting to see some kind of review for it at the end of the series?
Possibly. Yep, possibly, because especially on YouTube, I don't do many show reviews. I think I've only done that maybe once or twice on YouTube.
It's really hard.
Much harder to.
It's really hard to do, man.
Yeah, because there's so much I need to remember, and I don't know. So we'll see, but those are TV show reviews are harder to make full length for sure.
Yeah. I'm feeling it with each episode that I make. It's almost like it's almost become routine. Like I enjoy doing them, and it gives, especially since that's a pretty hot thing right now. It definitely will bring in definitely eyes to your channel that's especially much needed eyes that you've been looking for. So it like I said, I just enjoy. I'm glad that's a game and a franchise that I love so much is relevant and I can talk about it. So if nothing else, HBO Max did a good job, and I know you guys probably don't watch this podcast. But if somebody stumbles upon it, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I still think the show's lackluster and underwhelming. But for what it does, it makes me excited to see another episode. I will say that. And it also gives me more of a reason to play the game and realize how much better it is in every single way. Anyways, I won't be like that anymore. I won't be ignorant anymore. Okay. I'm done. All right. So, anyway, this was a very long-winded conversation about everything. We talked about QUANTUMANIA for 5 minutes. I don't even think we really gave our final thoughts on it, but I mean, I think we pretty much have the gist here. I didn't think it was bad as you guys. You guys think it's
say,
I was like, there's not really much to say. It's just, it's kind of just a forgettable movie all around.
I should have named this episode Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania for ... for 5 minutes, and then just put
and
whatever
much
else.
More.
Yeah, and much more. So I might for now on when we do a show like this and we have a specific topic, I might put the specific topic and just put and more, because usually we'll just talk. If it's something we don't really vibe with that much, we don't have a lot to say about it. But I thought we'd have a little bit more to say about it than we did. But I mean, I'm happy with the way the conversation went. I just kind of expecting the QUANTUMANIA to go just a little bit longer. But
I thought I would have more to say too, honestly. But then I was like, no, I really don't. I guess just this movie was very forgettable, and yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah. No, it's all right. No, I mean, we if nothing else, it set us up for other topics. And I mean, we just kept it going. And I mean, we were all over the place, but that's how we do things over here on Deadhead Podcast, though. We just go from one topic to the next pretty seamlessly, and everything always links up with each other. It's kind of nuts.
You're just that unhinged, yeah.
All right. Well, with that being said, Branden, is there any closing words you'd like to say to the guests? I don't know if many people from your channel followed us here. You want to just tell us what you got going on, what you're working on, and if there's anything else you like to get off your chest, man. We like to use this podcast as a place where you can display your emotion, talk about what you're trying to work on, and we're here to uplift you, man.
The next videos I have planned, probably make a review on Cocaine Bear and Creed 3. And I don't know if you guys were aware, but the Oscars are a week from today.
Oh, yep, that's right.
So what I do every year is I usually just do a video ranking the Best Picture nominees, and I think for the first time ever, I've actually seen all the Best Picture nominees at the time of the announcement. Usually there's like one or two that I still haven't seen, but when they were all announced this year, it's like, I've seen all those movies. Sweet. So I don't have anything to catch up on. So that'll probably be, those are all probably be out sometime within the next week.
That's right. Well, good deal. We'll be looking out for it. I've been trying to keep up with all these stuff, man. I'm trying to with life in general. I have my time is like so like futile at this point. Like I just have enough to tomorrow I might have maybe a few hours to record, because I always try to record another episode review for The Last of Us, and then I try to do one other just whatever oddball video. Like I did one on open world games and why I think they're kind of trash in 2023. And I'm trying to switch it up and do a little bit different stuff, because when you do the same thing, talk about the same stuff, you start to kind of get into this okay, this shit's not even fun anymore. And if I'm trying to treat this as a hobby, something I really enjoy doing, and when I'm talking about shit I don't really want to talk about, it just gets very repetitive and boring. So you know how it is. But anything else you'd like to say, Jan? Is there anything you want to say to the people before we get it on out of here, and we do some housekeeping?
Oh, the same old dribble. Do not watch Ant-Man, and do watch The Last of Us. That's my recommendation of the week.
That's your homework.
That's it. That's the one.
All right. Well, I tell you something me and you need to do, and Branden, I hope you can at least check out the episode in a couple weeks. We're gonna have on a Lyra. She's a Twitch streamer, and she loves, like I said at the beginning of the show, she's a huge Harry Potter, Hogwarts Legacy nut. I thought that for the next episode would be a perfect time to talk about everything Hogwarts Legacy, because I'm over halfway through with the game, and I'm trudging along. I'm telling you, it's difficult, but we want to try to have the game completed and to talk about it. So, like I said, if you feel free to come in the chat or whatever. I don't know how far you're in the game, so we don't want to spoil everything. But
I keep getting sidetracked. That's me with open world games. I just look, what's this? And I just don't do the main missions for a little while.
Yeah, you can go into
all the butterflies.
Yeah, it's a big game. But yes. Anyway, with that being said, just to reiterate, so next week's episode, we're going to do episode 20, a huge episode for the Deadhead Podcast. We're going to talk about Hogwarts Legacy. Have a special guest on, talk about it. Me and Jan will be back with Lyra. She got a Twitch channel. We'll put her information in the next week's episode. I just want to thank you guys again for coming to another episode of Deadhead Podcast. We've had quite a few people chime in today. We've had some comments, and I like seeing this thing get bigger and the show getting bigger. And I appreciate you, Branden, for taking time to come on the cast, man. I enjoy having you on. And I hope you can come on again soon, man. Now that I know you play a lot more games than I thought you did, we definitely got to have you back on.
Okay,
so we can.
I agree. I agree.
Because this year is packed, so we got to have more people that really are playing these games, so we can stay on top of it, try to be with the new releases and things of that nature. So anyway, with that being said, thank you guys again for coming to the latest episode of Deadhead Podcast. Again, follow us everywhere. Links are in our bio. I'll put Branden's information in the comment section of this video, and be sure to check out his channel as well. And with that being said, we'll see you in the next one. Stay dead, my friends.